In the world of radio shock jocks, the biggest are Opie and Anthony.
These people say shocking things that border on offensive in order to entertain their audience.
I refuse to sit here and think that radio has to be nice. Why? Why does radio, out of any other medium, have to be nice? We are being now held to a standard where we have to be nice and make people feel good. Go screw!
Radio bad boys, Opie and Anthony.
Controversial radio personalities, Opie and Anthony.
Infamous DJs, Opie and Anthony.
Talk show radio hosts, Opie and Anthony.
Opie and Anthony.
Opie and Anthony.
Radio shock jocks, Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony. Shock jocks, Opie and Anthony. Shock jocks, Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony. Shock jocks, Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony.
Testing 1 2 1 2. Po boo bo banana nana banana fana fofo fee fi momo po.
Who thought you were dead? The people you were partying with?
Dealers, yeah.
Dealers and stuff, and they just threw him in a dumpster in London.
Well, you know, I
left him there.
I think it's pretty funny. No one wants a dead rock star.
This is where entertainment is going.
I shot my computer.
You can't shoot guns in suburbia.
And I fully expected the police to show up.
This is showing responsibility.
Opie and Anthony.
I think worse than having sex with a man would be, as you're kissing one, to feel his man hands holding your head like the sweat of a man hand right on the nape of your neck. This is the worst. The worst show This is the worst show I've ever been on.
But enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
There we go. I guess the show's on the road.
It certainly is.
Not literally.
Wow, we got a lot of people stopping by today. I'm looking at the list.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing? The Tonight Show?
I was thinking that last night. I'm like, Jesus, how many people are coming on this show?
Well, we're going to start with Jerry Springer. Then we're going to go talk to Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs.
Rowe,
Dirty Jobs.
Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs.
Dirty Jobs with that voice of his.
Mike Rowe,
Dirty Jobs.
built Ford Tough.
Ford Tough.
He does that, too.
But he has a hell of a sense of humor with that Dirty Jobs.
I've been watching every episode, so I got plenty to talk about with that man. He's just, it shouldn't be called Dirty Jobs anymore. It should be called We're Gonna Kill Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what they're doing now. They've it's still a dirty job, but now they're getting so dangerous. They're putting him in dangerous situations. They're just gonna, get to a point where they put him behind the stick in a cockpit and just the pilots parachute out. I have to land the plane? All right, I'll give it a try.
Well, you know why? They ran out of dirty jobs.
Yeah, so now they're just dangerous stuff.
This show should have lasted 1, maybe 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many seasons are up to, but the only reason is because of Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe's
his sense of humor and his personality and that voice of his. I'm Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe's hysterical, man.
Then we move on to Steve Carell.
Yes.
He'll be stopping in and saying hi.
Daily Show lackey makes good.
Yeah, he was a lackey on The Daily Show.
He was just a lackey on The Daily Show.
He showed them, didn't he? I don't need you guys.
Did. Now, I see the trailer for his new movie, and they're going, his performance is Oscar-worthy.
Oh, really?
It's like, wait a minute, this is the guy that was in front of a green screen. You know? Back to you, John.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
He was the first guy doing the goofy interview on The Daily Show.
Yeah.
They're up to 10 or 12 guys now.
Yeah.
And then we get Chaz Palminteri.
Yeah, he's great.
Coming in to talk about A Bronx Tale, his one-man show that Jimmy and I saw the other night.
It certainly is like The Tonight Show.
So if we want to talk about other stuff, we better start talking now. We better start doing something because it's going to be nothing but guests from 7 o'clock on today.
Isn't there someone else?
Huh?
Isn't there a phoner from someone, too?
Steve Carell.
Okay.
When I said stopping by, I meant just stopping by.
Yeah.
The show, because for the people out there, that's all it is. For us, it's cool to see them face to face,
but they're not here.
But for the people
from the show,
yeah, for the people in their cars, it's just they're stopping by the show today, whether it's on a phone or in studio.
Yeah,
comprende?
Si.
Ay, caramba.
Si.
All right, and well, why don't we start with Joe Torre said, "Go F yourself, George Steinbrenner."
I really have been keeping tabs on the story since the Yankees were knocked out of the playoffs, and
you mean since the Yankees did not show up for the playoffs?
Well, whatever you want to call it.
They didn't show up.
Well, I think they were there. I remember watching them. And there was a team in Yankee pinstripes.
No, their souls weren't
out there.
There were no souls.
Their souls were stolen?
Yeah, physically they might have been on that field.
Okay. So you're saying they were almost like just zombies in Yankee uniforms
Absolutely.
playing?
They looked like the players.
All righty.
Yeah, the one looked really good. He looked just like Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
But that Derek Jeter didn't have a soul.
Oh, okay.
No soul.
I didn't know that. I thought it was the Yankees.
So you've been following this closely?
I've been following this pretty closely, this whole Joe Torre situation. And every day it was, are they keeping Torre? Are they firing Torre? Oh, my God, Joe Torre is going to be out. And he looked so sad when he gave his speech. But I didn't hear one person say, you know what I think will happen? Joe Torre is going to tell them to go screw off. Not one. I didn't hear that at all.
Because no one thought the Yankees would do what they did. They probably offered him less than he should have gotten just to say.
Well, they offered him $5 million for a year.
Yeah, so
$8 million if he made the World Series,
and then a guaranteed another year. Managing if they won the pennant. So I don't really understand where he got screwed over this deal.
Well, initially it's less than he's making per year. They offered him $5 million. I think he was making $7 million.
Okay.
A year.
So his base salary dropped.
Yeah, his base salary, but with the bonus, it would have been $8 million. So he would have actually made more per year if he would have done what they wanted him to do.
I was listening to the news station on the way in today, and they're talking to hardcore Yankee fans, and they're like, "Yeah, Joe should leave. He got dissed by George Steinbrenner." And they're talking to guys that are driving bread trucks and landscapers, and I'm thinking to myself, but dissed? I'm looking at the numbers, 5 million buckaroos.
Well, I was listening.
Is it diss?
I was listening to 1010 Wins on the way in, and John Montone was talking to some Yankee fans.
Can we get his report, possibly?
John Montone. And he goes, so you're saying it was a $5 million diss?
Yes. I don't like the Yankees. I don't like George Steinbrenner. But it seems like he put together a pretty interesting deal for Joe Torre. His base salary drops, but let's be honest, Joe Torre hasn't won anything in a really long time at this point.
It gives incentive to win, and he'll make more money, and he'll continue.
Right.
If he would have won. It seemed like a pretty good deal, but I think it's not just the money. I think if he was offered that like the next day, maybe he would have accepted it. But it was that waiting and some of Steinbrenner's comments, like before the series was even done. He said, if they don't win this, Torre's out. That makes you look and say, hey, go screw yourself.
They're not going to win with that stupid team. They're never going to win with a bunch of hired guns.
Yeah.
That's what he did in the 80s. It sucked then, and it sucks now. It's the problem is that they don't run the team right from way above Torre.
Right.
Well, now you got Cashman, who's
a dope.
And now the boss is, from all reports I'm getting, losing his mind. He's just like going into a senility.
He's starting to look like Bill from that movie we love to discuss.
Mickey Rooney playing the retard.
Yeah.
He really is starting to look like that. And now his sons come
more
out.
pictures.
His two sons come out. Who I'm sorry, probably grew up just spoiled brats. And I don't know what they know, what they don't know about the game, but it just looks like it's going to be kind of a hard time to be a Yankee fan for a few years.
There you go. You know what I'm hoping? Get rid of that bum at Shea Stadium. And bring in Joe Torre.
You think so?
As a longtime Mets fan, I would welcome Joe Torre to the Mets.
You want Joe to come to the new stadium over there?
That
Queens?
Joe Torre makes it really, really hard to hate the Yankees. They even had, what's his name there, Francone, Red Sox dude there, talking really nicely about Joe Torre on the tube today.
I've never heard anyone say a bad word about Joe Torre.
And you know how the Red Sox,
aside from in the context of the game and his managing, some people have problems with it. But I've never heard personally people go, "Oh God, what a bastard.
But especially, Red Sox, Yankees, they're brawling every year now. That's the rivalry is just amazing.
Yep.
And there he is on TV just saying nothing but nice things about Joe Torre. I thought that shows what kind of a person Joe Torre is in the end. You got to give him the props for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to the New York papers, where does the actual paper begin? Could someone call me up and just tell me what page I have to go to get news? Because the Joe Torre stuff in one paper starts on page 1, and it's like, it's a special pullout, then it's 18 other pages. I don't know where the real paper is.
There should be
in the middle of this thing.
There shouldn't be a special pullout on any newspaper unless the cover is war. It should just be 3 big letters, war. And then there should be a big pullout.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think baseball deserves a pullout. I don't think a parade deserves a pullout.
Yeah. Well, let's, we got to play the Susan Waldman clip.
Goodness gracious!
After the Yankees were knocked out, it was very obvious that Joe Torre's days were numbered.
Yeah.
Most people thinking George Steinbrenner was going to just fire him. But,
fire him on the spot.
According to the papers today, Joe said, go F yourself, basically.
Good for Joe.
And here's Susan Waldman, her dramatic crying clip over Joe Torre.
And then he said something that everybody in the room, we all looked at each other. He said, this Yankee team has a great future. It's got a lot of young kids. There is no question about the ability of these people. They're very impressive. He said, you think it's going to last forever. And this is rough. He's your friend. He said, this has been the best 12 years of my life. I wouldn't have missed this for anybody. Now, I was okay, actually, until I went into the clubhouse. I've ever seen. I was sitting in Torrey's office. I'm crying. Watching this.
Goodness
and
gracious.
The tears that you hear in my voice are coming down the faces of the coaches in that coach's room.
Yeah, are they?
That's terrible. I'm sorry.
So there you go. There's the big news as far as sports goes. It's the second biggest sports story. Go Sox, go!
Well, yeah, they chalked up a win last night, and they're still in it.
That's right.
Still in it, and then they go back to Fenway.
That's right. Big good morning to all the sleepy listeners in Boston listening on WBCN. It was another late night of watching baseball for everybody.
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered.
I once again tried, but the bottom of the third inning, it was already midnight, so I had to go to bed.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't stay up like that.
So, but as soon as I woke up, first thing I did was I grabbed my BlackBerry.
Your BlackBerry.
And I did a little scrolling, and there it was. A win for the Sox. And really fast, next week, BCN is giving away passes to what? The Halloween party on our show.
The big Halloween bash.
Yeah. Next week during the 8 a.m. hour on WBCN, they're giving away chances to win tickets to their Halloween party. We're going to be there, of course, a week from today for the big Halloween bash.
Yeah.
All right, in other news, just trying to get a lot of things out of the way today because it's nothing but guests today.
Guests, this is.
Well, Joey Bishop died. My God.
Oh.
The last remaining member of the Rat Pack, I think.
Well, he was kind of a hanger-on, wasn't he? Let's really face it.
Because who
is really the Rat Pack? You're talking Frank is in charge.
Yeah.
And Dino.
Yeah.
Dino is the real ladies' man, along with Frank. And then you had Sammy Davis Jr.
Right.
And then it sort of drops off. Then you kind of got Joey Bishop and Peter Lawford.
Was Joey Bishop like Spider?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say Joey Bishop was like Spider. Like Frank probably just, get me a drink. What's the matter, you bumbling ass?
You think? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because my fiance, she's like, "Who's Joey Bishop?" And I really couldn't explain to her who Joey Bishop was. I'm like, he was like an entertainer. Like back in the day, they had entertainers.
You could just be an entertainer.
They were called entertainers.
He would go on like talk shows, and no one knew what he did.
I really don't know what Joey Bishop did. I think he sang a little, maybe he told a joke or two.
Yeah.
And then he would sit down with Johnny Carson, drink a martini. I don't know.
And then he'd talk
That's all
about...
I know about Joey Bishop.
And then Johnny would say, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'll be opening at the Sands next week for a 2-week run. And then we're over at the, and then you just talk about where he is and what I don't know what he did.
Right.
I don't know what Joey Bishop did aside from, being a little hanger-on to the Rat Pack.
So he died at 89.
89. All those guys just made it to ripe old ages, didn't they?
There was a story about Joey Bishop, I think, that Voss told me. He was on stage one time, and Marilyn Monroe was brought in. He was in the middle of his set, and they bring a table in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big hubbub, and they carry the table in the middle of his set and put it up front, and they walk Marilyn Monroe in front of the entire audience, and of course it's very distracting.
Yeah.
And when she sits down, he looked at her and said, "Hey, I thought I told you to wait in the truck."
Oh, that was him?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
that's a classic line. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very famous story.
If it's him. Now watch, somebody will call it.
It was probably like...
It was Jane Mansfield, and it was her head. I thought I told you to wait under the truck.
All right, so... Some people will be talking about the death of Joey Bishop today, not us. He was 89, and he was part of the Rat Pack, and that's all we really know.
Yeah.
That he was an entertainer.
And
then in other news, there's nooses all over the place. Did we call this one? We call a lot of things. People really need to start listening to our radio show for real information.
This is a very perceptive show.
The freaking media is making hanging nooses a very popular activity. And guess what? This is the shocking thing. They're not doing it in a hateful way.
It's not a hate crime.
And you're looking at your radio right now going, what? What? They're not. There's a lot of dopey kids and people out there that know, wow, I hang a noose, going to get a little attention. They don't want to be arrested for it. But what they do is they're calling all their friends going, oh, my God, look at page 7. Page 7. That's us.
Our noose made the news.
We did it, dude.
Exactly.
Because it's the media, starts these trends, and they keep reporting on it like there's some crazy trend going on out there. No, you're starting the trend.
Swastikas, too. They're being spray painted everywhere.
And nooses are so huge right now, and it's because of the media. The hate level in America didn't all of a sudden drastically go up.
Yeah.
What went up was the coverage on this, and we're all a bunch of just lemmings. We're a bunch of dopes.
And they're copycatting. Now they got the copycats that go out there because they see it gets news attention.
Yeah.
And the news loves making stories out of non-stories.
Right.
And this is what you get because of it.
This Home Depot home to the latest racially motivated incident. A noose made from rope sold here discovered hanging from one of the shelves. There have been so many incidents like this recently.
It's a kid.
Now somebody
that's still living with his mom and dad in their basement. He goes to work at Home Depot, maybe working the late shift, and he's like, watch this.
It could even be somebody that's in there. It was rope at the Home Depot. So you see some rope, you wind it into a noose, and just leave it there on the shelf.
Right.
It has nothing to do with racism. They're talking about nooses. So you make one and throw it up on a shelf.
And I want to make it perfectly clear. Some of these nooses, yeah, possibly a little hate behind.
Oh, it depends on where they are.
But in general, no hate behind this. It's more of a goofy thing that people are doing because they know it's the hot thing to do.
Yep.
I'm sorry. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But you'll have Reverend Al. There's nooses being hung all over America. Yeah, but the hate level didn't just go up overnight.
No. It's been there.
Incidents like this recently, but the New York City Police Commissioner is calling it part of a copycat syndrome.
Right,
3 nooses captured on a cell phone hung in the aisle of the hardware department inside this Passaic Home Depot.
I looked up and I see a white and a black ropes hanging up there.
Terrence Baker is a Home Depot vendor who was helping a customer.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was very surprised because I ain't seen nothing like that since I left Alabama.
Oh, come on.
Get a hold of yourself, Terrence.
Wait, what did he say?
I haven't seen nothing like that since I left Alabama.
Oh, come on.
Old Alabama.
That's a stretch.
Today in Hempstead, the 3rd noose in 3 days was discovered. This one hanging on a chain-link fence.
It looks like the copycat syndrome is in full bloom.
Back out live, this Home Depot, we're told by the NAACP, did not report this incident to police, and police later confirmed that. The manager here at the Home Depot says he didn't think it was that big a deal, didn't think it rose to the level of police interest. NAACP isn't buying that. They think the Home Depot didn't report it because they didn't want the bad publicity. Police are investigating, and right now, so far, no suspects or leads, but as you heard the police commissioner of New York say, it's all part, he thinks, of a copycat syndrome.
All right, at least they're okay. That's comforting.
At least somebody decided, I don't think we should waste the police's time on this.
Well, that's good to hear, because it's not about the hate level just drastically going up all of a sudden.
No, that was a message, man, because that's where you send a social message in the paint aisle of Home Depot.
Right. Yeah.
Morons, the NAACP are. They didn't care about this stupid bad publicity. It was just a non-issue.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jersey. What's up, Jersey?
Oh, I thought we were getting up and leaving.
I would love to.
Scared me.
Nice work, Lou.
Go. Nice work, Lou.
Hey, Jersey, I don't have a name for you, so just talk. Yes.
My name's Adam.
All right, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Go on, I heard you guys talk about Joey Bishop. He was just a warm-up comedian for when those guys used to do the Sands in Vegas. I think he was like Frank Sinatra's bitch.
Yeah, well, definitely was.
I think they all were.
There were stories about Frank like smacking him around a little bit.
Yeah.
You smack around Joey Bishop?
And why are you guys killing Tory, man?
We're not killing Tory.
How did we kill Tory?
I'm not.
Oh my God.
We just gave him props.
You kidding? How did it happen? We didn't kill Tory. What did we say?
You guys are knocking him for not taking a contract?
When did we do that?
I kind of knocked him, saying it seems like a pretty good deal considering the guy hasn't won anything in a long time.
I think
he just turned down $5 million with a lot of incentives. Yeah, I'm knocking him.
I said good for him.
And they're interviewing guys that are working 2 jobs on the streets of New York, and they're like, yeah, they really screwed him over there. Only offered him $5 million a year bonus salary. That's crazy.
Yeah, but 4 World Series in the playoffs for 12 straight years, I think...
That's wonderful. When was the last time the Yankees won?
Goodness gracious, they killed Joe Torre.
I think
it's the famous "What have you done for me lately?" Joe Torre's a great guy. I will never take that away from him. But he had an all-star team for 12 years. He probably should have won 6 to 8.
As a big Yankee fan, I think the last time they won the World Series when they beat the hell out of the Mets. Yeah, baby.
I'm hanging up on you. I don't need this.
I'm even agreeing. As a Yankee fan, I'm agreeing. That guy's being a complete ass. He's probably trolling all the shows, trying to find a sports show or someone that's bashing Joe Torre.
Yeah.
He finds this half-assed bash maybe he might have heard for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And decides that we were bashing Joe Torre.
Oh, there you go. But the guy had a great line in the end.
That was funny.
I have to respect that. Let's go to Hank at Philly. Hank, what's up?
Yo, O.A. and Jimmy.
Hey, yes.
Frankie. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that, you're still on in Philly.
Oh, okay.
That's good to know, because there were rumors that today was D-Day, that they were taking us off today.
Oh, boy.
There were rumors flying around the old internet, on the old radio sites.
I haven't heard none. And, Anthony, you're the Mets fan, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I hope we get rid of Randolph and bring in Torrey.
All right.
It would be so much better.
Wait, you're in Philly, but you're a Mets fan? That's a little weird.
Yeah, I'm the first one in my family not born in New York.
Yeah. Oh, all right, Hank. Hank, I might make a little visit to Philly in the very near future.
All right, cool. I met you guys backstage at the Camden tour.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I didn't do none that outrageous for you guys, but I asked Jimmy Norton if I could pee on his leg.
Oh, wow. That's just wonderful, Hank.
I was drunk.
Are you drunk now?
No, I got to go to work.
All right.
Good luck, Hank.
Thanks. Hank, listening on WYSP.
Can we come back at
Philly.
one point? Can we please talk about this guy on the railroad who I love?
Oh, yeah.
The guy who throws coffee on people. He's just an animal. I hated him at first, and now I just read an article on him, and I want to hug him.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
That guy rules.
It's a complete ass.
Actually, he's a hero to a lot of commuters.
Yeah.
We'll explain. It doesn't matter what city you're in. If you have to take a train or a subway, this guy is for you. He really is. Oh, by the way, I wanted to get local for Philly. John Belaris coming back to town, guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Belaris is coming back to Philly. That's big news for Philly.
Wow.
All right, hey, it's Opie and Anthony. Don't forget, we got $1,000 to give away. He's a weatherman.
Oh, okay.
He was massively huge in Philly, and then New York grabbed him. You've seen John Belaris on New York weather.
I phase out everybody's name on
honestly as far
local news because it's not news.
But we'll get into that a little bit after the break.
To.
But as far as weather guys go, he stands out. This guy John Belaris always stood out.
Yeah,
he is smooth when he's doing his weather forecast. Absolutely.
Somebody's saying, Belaris is Opie's idol. Hide your teenage daughters. What does that mean?
He's not my idol. I'm just going local for Philly.
I don't know. People are saying.
Valeris is one of the biggest names in Philly media history, this guy.
Yeah.
And then New York stole him for a while, and now he's going back to Philly. It's big news. Trust me. Trust me. In Philly, they're like, wow.
Goodness gracious.
This is good for our city. All right, hey, $1,000 giveaway sometime between 7 and 7:30. Here's the sound you're listening for today.
Official endeavor.
When you hear that, be the 10th caller at 877-212-ONA, and you'll win $8,000. It's
between 7 and 7:30.
What did I say, 7 and 7 again?
No.
Oh, between 7 and 7:30. Very good.
Reiterating.
All right, it's Opie, Anthony, little Jimmy Norton. Stay there. Yeah, this show's going to fly by today. It's a busy one. It's Opie, it's Anthony. Gonna give away $1,000, I don't know. Sometime between 7 and 7:30 today. Let's remember that. Starting next week, of course, BCN is going to start giving away tickets for the Halloween Bash during our show in the 8 o'clock hour. Keep listening to BCN for details on that. Want to say hi to Buffalo. Holy yes. Hello, Buffalo. Hello, Shred and Reagan.
Love Buffalo.
My old friend Shred.
Yep.
Just destroying an afternoon drive in Buffalo. And we're doing, I wouldn't call it destroying, but we're number one in a bunch of demos that we need to be number one in. Huge ratings in Buffalo. Thank you, Buffalo. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Jim Norton was on in Buffalo yesterday on Shred and Reagan. How did that go?
Shred and Reagan. It was great. I mean, those guys always do a really good interview, and they were saying nice things about this show. And then they made fun of me for my awful plug yesterday, and they were right.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about the show. You mentioned Shred and Reagan, and I just kind of like shamefully mumbled like, I'm going to be on with her. I never. I was so afraid of saying that, and he'll go, well, we're not talking about you. We're talking about Shred and Reagan, not you. But it was great. Those guys are helping me out. And,
we're just doing great in Buffalo. Yeah. They got a young PD, this guy Jim. And he just, I try to tell the other affiliates, and we had an article recently. When you take the Opie and Anthony show, this is a really, really good radio show. But if you're an affiliate and you're taking the morning show, you can't just turn the switch on and go, I don't have to worry about mornings. You got to work it. You got to make it sound like it's part of the city that your station is in.
Yeah.
And this guy, Jim, he's young, he's aggressive, he knows how to work the show and make it sound like we're broadcasting right there in Buffalo.
He's a go-getter.
And then there's other stations we're on, they just flip the switch and go, that's all I have to do. And they're not getting the same results as Buffalo. You got to work it a little bit.
Yeah, it's not just like, pipe it in.
Right. I mean, we'll do most of the work. Trust me. But you got to do some stuff too. You got to come up with some clever promos. You got to come up with some clever contesting. You got to send us info from your city so we could bring that to everybody and make it interesting for the whole country.
Yep.
The PDs that just turn the switch on, they're just dummies. They really are dummies.
Yeah.
We haven't been to Buffalo
End of today's
in years.
rant. I know. Well, we were supposed to be this summer. I was pushing hard for the virus tour to hit Buffalo. I just know it's a hotbed for Opie and Anthony activity. It really is, though. And then you got, we do pretty well in Rochester, and then, because of the XM, we got a lot of Canadian listeners. It would have been a perfect place. Then you got the people from Cleveland that could come up and check out the show.
Pittsburgh.
Some of the hardcore people from Cleveland and Pittsburgh would have went to Buffalo. It was a guarantee to sell a lot of tickets, but we're not going to get it right every time, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Anthony had a great observation. We're preparing for the show. We're watching the local news here, and you know how we think of the local news at this point. It's just awful.
You really, it is awful. Local news, and I'm not just talking about New York. We've been to a lot of cities. We went on our nice little comedy tour over the summer and spent some time in a lot of other cities. And I sit and watch the local news in the hotel room a lot of times.
And I want to jump in really fast because I knew you were going to say that, obviously. And when you're watching the local news from these hotels, you don't know what city you're in.
Yep.
You really don't.
Absolutely.
Unless they mention, like, the sports team. You're like, oh, the Lions. Okay, we're in Detroit. All right. I know where we are now. Because if you just watch the local news, it is exactly the same wherever you go.
They've lost, like, every bit of credibility and the ability to get real hard-hitting news. I don't think there's any real reporters that work for local news anymore. It's either CNN or Fox News. But the local news is just, there's nothing going on. Today, here's an example. We watch the CW11 news,
also known as Jill TV.
And we'll be honest, we watch it just because of Jill Nicolini.
And we try to figure out how, not figure out. We want to see how her boobs are going to look today.
What her boobs are going to be like, what costumes she's wearing. Whatever.
And it's also Dance Friday on Jill TV today.
Oh, boy.
Used to be called the news. Now it's Jill TV because now there's a whole segment where she just dances with, interns and stuff.
I can't bring myself to call it the news. That's why we call it Jill TV. It's not the news.
Right.
Now they got a guy, look at him. He's breakdancing.
Well,
what's his name?
Hey, how many of our boys died this week in Iraq?
Exactly. Now this is on the heels of over 100 people being killed in Karachi, Pakistan, for a car bombing,
which is normally a fun place.
Oh yeah. Normally just a blast. Oh, no pun intended. I really didn't mean that pun, or I would crash myself. But here's what the CW11 decided to report on. First, we got to our traffic and weather, very important, with just screw up after screw up on the graphics. That's one thing I love about Jill TV also. They can never seem to get the graphics right with what the person is talking about. And there's the big World's Fair globe. Oh, there it was. It's off now, and we're on a street.
And how about I can't improvise. So
I don't know what's up.
Oh, God. Give me another pretty picture to look at, please.
I don't know what's going on. And then student gets TMI, too much information, from sex ed brochure handed out at school. That was the story.
What was that about?
I guess a sexual education brochure is handed out in school. And
what's the too much information part?
It was talking about how lesbian women can use certain things to better protect themselves. We've talked about that. Usually it's a piece of latex or something.
Yeah.
But it was a brochure that were given to students, and parents were a little outraged. Outrage is the big thing on fake news. Reverend gets his guitar stolen that New York firefighters gave him. It's a story. And these, by the way, it isn't in between these are big stories. This is the order all these stories happened in.
This used to be like the feel-good section of the news. Like at the end of the broadcast, they would end with something cute and stupid.
Right.
Now it's the whole news. That's the difference.
Pick one of these, and at the end of the news, they would go, and in Florida,
right,
or something like that.
Right.
But this is the entire news now. The Sands Casino in Atlantic City gets blown up. And that was a minute and a half of just them blowing up the building.
What was funny, and we were laughing our asses off.
Oh, yeah.
Because these 9/11 conspiracy theorists, people,
that say it was a controlled explosion that took down Building 7, or even the towers, they say, was a controlled demolition set up by the government. Every time you see one of these casinos or buildings being taken down, they give you a little insight on what it takes to demolish one of these buildings. And all they showed was a completely stripped out interior of a building, and guys with jackhammers that are about 5 feet long
and
making holes in cement pillars.
Yeah, just massive drills going through concrete, loud as all could be, and just everything vibrating.
Drills.
And that's what would have had to happen while people were going to work.
People are working,
and no one's going to notice this.
No one's noticing hundreds of men tearing apart concrete pillars and loading explosives into them. You idiots.
So it's just something that when Ant and I see it, we laugh our asses off because we're like, this is what they believe happened down there at Ground Zero.
Yeah.
And if you just see one of these buildings, going down and what it takes to prepare the building.
To do it, to prep it.
You would realize how insane these conspiracy theory people.
It takes months.
Yeah.
Months to prepare these buildings,
anyway,
but you'll never convince them. So that was pretty much, it was interesting, but it's not, it was a big fanfare thing with fireworks and everything. Joey Bishop dies.
Right.
That was part of the news.
Also known as Frank Sinatra's intern.
The
guy that got
intern,
Frank his coffee.
Go get his coffee. Club Soda Joey, I think they called him.
Yeah, he used to get Frank his blueberries.
Yeah.
Longer.
Now, that was the big, those are kind of the big stories.
Yeah.
And those sucked.
Right.
Now they're completely running out of things. So, man in Florida robs pharmacy with scissors.
Yeah.
That was a big story. Family in Florida steals a puppy from a pet shop. This is the news.
No, it's great. Grandma got involved. I love when Grandma gets involved with selling drugs or some kind of armed robbery.
You gotta love when Grandma gets involved.
Grandma was distracting the workers at the pet shop so everybody else could steal the puppies.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about the scissor story, what they didn't follow up with, is what he stole was paper, but he was stopped by a guy with a rock.
I didn't know that.
I need a little
getting cute. Students can't wear a Save Second Base breast cancer T-shirt in their Kansas high school. Kansas high school news we're getting here in New York.
It was kind of a hot story, though, man, for to raise money for breast cancer. It said Save Second Base.
Save Second Base.
So they had 2 baseballs on a T-shirt, and guess where the baseballs lined up?
Where the girls' breasts would be. And it had a little pink ribbon on it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of clever because it was Save Second Base. Second base traditionally known as the breasts. If you're working the how far do I go sexually kind of a thing. Second base. So it was kind of clever. The girls were kind of, cute high school girls that came up with a clever little campaign. And the principal is just sitting there, this old, looks like a pederast, just sitting there sweating profusely, upset with these T-shirts. And the only reason I could figure out that he was upset is because these girls just make him so hot and work him up so much that the thought of their breasts and emphasizing anything to do with their breasts just freaked him out.
Yeah.
Freaked him out. He was probably going home where he would chafe himself for hours on end.
Well, the video of the principal was hilarious because it looked like he just got done mopping the sweat off his
head. The girls and breasts.
This is the 10th interview of this morning.
I'd like to see him go, well, we think the shirts are inappropriate. There's no place in a high school for... Okay, look, I'll be honest with you. I gotta be around these girls, high school girls, every goddamn day. They're the sexiest things on 2 legs. And now they're emphasizing their breasts with baseballs.
My wife hasn't been sexy since Jimmy Carter was in office.
I can't take it anymore. That's the truth. You want honesty? I can't take high school girls' breasts. It's driving me crazy.
Opens up the window. I'm horny as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
He just lost his mind. He was all sweaty.
If you've never seen Network, pick that movie up this weekend and watch it and learn.
Wow, they were completely on the ball years ago. They knew it was which direction the news was headed.
Heidi Chayefsky is brilliant.
Yep. Network predicted everything that's going on in the media today with reality shows and the news just getting stupid.
Well, we go from Kansas high school news, to Alabama billboard news.
Okay.
There seems to be a billboard protesting Citgo in Alabama and calls Hugo Chavez an ass. It says, "Don't buy gas from this ass." But we wouldn't know that because the news, Jill TV, decided to blur out the word ass on the billboard.
Good.
So you couldn't even see it. It said, "Don't buy gas from this pixelated word, perish the thought anyone sees on TV. Ass. The word, and he goes, and it says, "Don't buy gas from this, another word for a donkey."
That's what he said.
Ew.
Another word for a donkey.
Oh, what a dumb society. What a dumb...
hot thing in a sex video?
Why can't you say...
fun one at the bachelor party?
Why can't you say from this ass? We can't say that now?
You can't say, don't buy gas from this ass. Now, here it is. Here's the problem. They even know they're not the news. They even know they're not the news because if they were the news, they'd have no problem putting that on because no one would complain because they could say, look, this is the news. We present the news and then someone starts laughing and goes, you're right, son of a bitch. It's just a fun entertainment show. Couldn't put ass. Now we're hitting some real hard-hitting news here. A cow roams a neighborhood in Miami.
Well, it's Miami. How many cows
now
are in Miami?
We get Miami cow news. And she goes, the police had a hard time moving this along like she did Cow joke.
I think maybe Mancow's mad at a radio host in Miami.
We're doing it like they do whenever there's an animal story. And a moving story out of Miami where the police had to round up a cow that seemed to get on the road.
Was it fast or did they milk it?
Oh, gosh. The teleprompter's down. Oh, Jesus.
If it's not this one thing or another.
And then finally they go back to traffic and weather.
Then back to traffic and weather. They come full circle.
That was only 10 minutes of Jill TV this morning.
10 minutes of the news, and it was the supposed to be news.
The supposed to be.
And that was it.
There you go. All right. Train terrorist. We got to get to this guy. I got the original story that we kind of went over really quickly on our show, but now this guy is just becoming just a hero to everybody.
Yeah, people are digging him now because the people on the subway think he's a real pain in the...
Well, the people that...
another word for a donkey.
Yeah,
The people that have to ride the train with him, his particular train, hate his guts. Yes. Yeah. But I think he's doing a pretty good service for everybody.
I love him.
Because who knows, there might be one of these guys on your train. He's kind of a vigilante. Let me just it's a quick little story just to bring everyone up to speed across America.
Background.
He may look like any other commuter, but to the MTA police or anyone else who's ever sat next to John Clifford on the Long Beach branch of the LIRR, he's known as the train terrorist.
We are afraid of him. We're completely afraid of him.
Clifford admits to punching a woman in the side of the face and even dumping a cup of coffee over another woman's head.
That she deserved.
Clifford says the punch was self-defense, the coffee retaliation after his pants were ruined from Hot Joe intentionally spilled in his lap.
Spilled my
the former New York
coffee.
City cop says he just can't stand it when people are rude on the train, especially loud people on cell phones.
He's right. I mean, look, the bottom line is this. I hated this guy. I'm like, what a douche. Like, he's just an old man that you want to kill, but he's a 6'4" ex-cop.
Yeah.
So he's a big guy, and he probably would confront other men. He's obviously was a cop for all those years. He's not afraid to confront other men. He's just a big animal.
I think he's a bully, though, being a little intimidating on the train. And
well, they're also saying that he might be a little,
kooky.
Little cuckoo.
Dude, I've been on the train before, and it's just, there's something about it when people are on phones or being loud. I get my jaws tight. You know what it is? Their sociopathic inability to see how goddamn irritating they are.
Yeah.
It's like, you think I don't want to yap on the phone, but I realize, there's people around.
There's also a way to talk on a cell phone that's quiet. I don't understand how you see people sometimes, and I'll do that. You cup your hand over there.
That's how I do.
You make your call quick. It's only a call. You're not going to call from the train and go, hey, I'm on a train. How you doing? But people do that.
But people, when I'm on a phone and the person on the other line will go, well, what's wrong? And I'll go, I'm on the train. I can't talk. And then I feel like this is too loud. I'll call you when I get to Penn Station. All right, all right, bye. But there's people just yapping. I haven't told this story in a while. Really fast. My brother, God bless him, don't want to name which one. I got 4 brothers, and they're all
probably guess.
They're all insane. They're all insane. You think I'm insane? Please. My brothers have real problems, but one of them was taking a train after a long day of work. I've told this story, but it'll be new for a few people. And he's sitting next to a guy on a cell phone, just like this guy, right? On a cell phone. Guy's loud as could be, which is just driving my brother nuts to begin with. And this guy on the cell phone is throwing around the N-word. Throwing it around like it's nothing, right? And all of a sudden, my brother turns and goes, "Look, could you?" First he goes, "Could you be quiet, please? You're really talking way too loud on your cell phone." And he's like, and the guy's like, looks at my brother, goes, and goes back to. So anyway, and then my brother's like, and I don't like that word. So could you please, quiet and stop using that word? And the guy's like,
wow. This brother is crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Did he know he was actually sitting next to your future radio partner?
So he keeps brushing my brother off like, yeah, shut up, you. I'll do whatever the hell I want, right? So my brother's stop comes about. The train stops. The doors are open. My brother goes like this, gives him the famous, come here a second. I want to tell you something.
Oh, boy.
And the guy leans in. He's still on the cell phone. Bam!
He socked him.
Dude, my brother's convinced he knocked him out. And then he just walked off the train, doors closed, and he was off on his way. That's how insane some of my brothers are. Then he finally had it with this guy. Like, all right, now you're challenging me. So now this is what I have to do. And the guy walked right into the punch. Right into it. He's like, come here. I want to tell you something.
Never fall for that.
And the guy's still on his cell phone, and he clocked him good. And then walked off the train, doors closed, so long.
You do want to hit them when they're just, and this on planes, the second the plane lands, you got we just landed. Yeah, I'm going to be, I should be to the hotel, but shut up.
The biggest pet peeve for being on a plane is when the mothers wake up their kids as the plane is coming in.
Yeah.
Knowing there's still another 10 or 15 minutes before you actually get off the plane. And what do the kids do as soon as they wake up?
Start crying.
And they were peaceful. They were
ears
asleep.
Are popping.
Why do you have to wake them up now?
Love listening to crying kids on the way down, though, because that's like... That I know it's almost over, but I know they're in pain and their little head hurts because they don't know how to depressurize their little ears. So it's just like, ow, my ears hurt, and they don't know what to do about it. Good for them. Their little head, their little oversized head for their body is pounding from pressure. Good. Cry.
You're sick.
I know, I love it.
You really are sick.
The little bastard ruined my flight the whole time anyway. Crying at the beginning, asking stupid questions. Are we in the air yet? Look out the window, you little dummy. There's people walking around, putting bags in the plane. No, we're not off the ground yet.
You expect a little kid to be an adult.
Kids are stupid.
Yeah.
They're stupid.
But a lot of us like them.
Oh.
A lot of us like the kids.
But I like kids.
They have to go through the whole process of growing up to be as brilliant and as considerate as you, Anthony.
I like kids. I think they're adorable, but they're dummies. They're just stupid.
That's their job, to be dummies until they learn enough.
They have no consideration.
And then they can be just like you.
They're rude.
Perfect in every way.
Exactly. Thank you.
I agree. Anthony is a good traveler. He's a courteous traveler. You're not loud.
I try not to be.
Just get in your seat and collapse like you're in a coma. Anthony, you've never seen anybody
like it's the show on a Friday.
Anthony and his chick on a plane, it looks like somebody just turned the gas oven on and then walked out of the room. I've never seen two people just collapse. It's like they had walked from home with their luggage and they have to sleep.
That's what two Bloody Marys and a Xanax will do to you on a plane. Flunk. What? It's a time machine when you do that.
Yeah.
So then you wake up, it seems like no time has passed, and you're in another city. It's the closest thing to the transporter on the Enterprise.
We don't have time for this, do we? We'll have to do it after the break. No, it fits with the whole news thing we've been doing, though.
Fans been throwing that break sign around a little too casually.
Yeah. And he's getting all upset when we don't break for it now. Yeah. He'll do that, and then all of a sudden you'll start talking about something else, and he'll go oh, geez, okay, this means nothing.
I know what that's about. Someone gave him a talking to.
Oh, did he get to talking to?
You got to make
perhaps a bit more.
You got to make sure these guys break on time.
Who talked to him?
What? Watch what we do now. We go late. Listen to this.
I was an altar boy for 9 years. I went to Catholic school for 9 years. I have no problem with this. I don't think it's...
Okay, a little setup needed here. We got the Chocolate Jesus back in the news.
Yeah, we remember him from last year.
One of these weird art projects.
Where'd they put this thing for a year, or is it a new one?
And we talked to the Chocolate Jesus guy.
Yeah.
It's Jesus made out of chocolate completely.
And
from head to toe.
But he's completely naked, doesn't have a loincloth on, and is kind of endowed.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they made him out of chocolate.
So Donahue we had on the phone arguing. Bill Donahue, Catholic.
Yes.
And he finally found a place to display his chocolate Jesus. So the news is talking about it, and listen what this dope said.
I was an altar boy for 9 years. I went to Catholic school for 9 years. I have no problem with this. I don't think it's a big deal. Jody, I agree with you. You don't want to see it, then don't go see it.
Right.
Perfect.
And this is a limited engagement, invitation only. By the way, the invitations are going to have a scratch and sniff of what appears to be the Virgin Mary on certain areas of the body.
Get out.
So, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah, thank you for that. Let's see what you think now. A chocolate Jesus, cool or uncool? Wait, what was that?
Cool or uncool?
It's a joke, right? The guy said the invitations, right?
It has to be. I don't know, though. How can you tell anymore?
He was just trying to get that guy riled up.
And then they're saying chocolate Jesus, cool or uncool?
Cool or uncool. I give it 2 thumbs up. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
Cool or uncool?
Who the hell's going to the website like, cool or uncool? Yeah, I'm going to go with cool.
All right. Jill TV now has a fashion show.
Sequins panty, and of course a thigh high.
A hottie Halloween costume fashion show with a hot-o-meter in the corner.
Yeah. And they're giving all the girls a lot of hotness.
Hot-o-meter. Who is the slob that is doing this, though?
And you can find these wicked Halloween looks at Fredericks of Hollywood stores. They're
Right with Frederick. All right, a little pornography in the news.
What the hell?
They won't say ass, but they're plugging Fredericks.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Fredericks is okay, but enough.
Like it.
Hey, we got Mike Rowe in the green room. He's joining the program next from Dirty Jobs. Jerry Springer is also here. I guess we're gonna have to bring them both in at the same time. What?
I'll be here in a minute.
What?
Be here in a minute.
What?
Talking to the mic. Opie can't hear you.
I heard you. He knows I heard him.
Mitzvah, spooky, scary. Boys becoming men becoming wolves.
Spooky, scary.
One of my favorite things to do now from 30 Rock, our pal Tracy Morgan. It's Opie and Anthony. Stay there. You're checking out the Opie and Anthony Show. It's a busy one. Don't forget, we got $1,000 to give away, and contest on. Sometime between now and 7:30, we'll give away that $1,000. And the guests are just flying through that studio door, man.
I know.
We got a lot of people scheduled for today. Right now,
feast or famine on this show.
It really is. Right now in studio, we got to say hi to Jerry Springer, the great Jerry Springer.
Yes, Jerry.
Please.
The great
There
Jerry
he is.
Springer.
Don't get up, please. Everyone just, yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah. And Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, whatever. What's up, Jerry?
Tough room. Damn.
Mike's going to have self-esteem problems.
Yeah. No, he's been on the show a few times. He's kind of used to it by now. I don't even know why he comes back at this point.
Excellent questions, really.
Last time he was here, Jerry, we dug up some really old audio of Mike Rowe selling crap on late night TV. I'm like, he's never going to come back after
the old shopping network shows, because he has a great voice, as you pointed out. So he would be on there, but he'd have to talk about things like a paper bag,
a cat
that was sold for a cat toy.
Is that always your voice?
A cat sack.
Yeah, a cat sack.
Is that always your voice? Like, if you want a glass of orange juice out of the refrigerator, do you say, "May I please have the glass of orange juice"?
Especially when I want a glass of orange juice. Yeah, in casual conversation, it is what it is. But when you want the orange juice or the iced tea, the lemonade, you need to kind of go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know who gets into more filth in their occupation between the two of you. Because Jerry...
Oh, I would never stand for that. No, that would be wrong, and I'd be opposed to it.
Yeah, well, Jerry... your show,
I'm so sorry,
has gone on for probably longer than is it the longest running show of that genre?
No, it's 17 years now. But,
17 years.
Phil Donahue was 29 years, and Oprah started a few years before me. So I think it's
Yeah, but Phil kind of never took it to the extreme that you do. I think there was
I take it to the extreme, do
a bit.
Yeah,
and I don't think there was as much competition as there is nowadays as far as TV goes, and then other media.
I think there was a time when it was very competitive, but we're in a niche now, so I don't think anyone really is as stupid as we are,
Yeah. So. Well, that's just it. You really can't tune in another one of these talk shows. They've kind of all tried to bring it a little more highbrow. But I like how you stick to your guns. I want white trash. I want impoverished black people that don't know who their parents or kids are or anything, just to come out and duke it out on stage.
Yeah, but also he's got the guy that's missing his lower body. What is that about?
Oh, Kenny, he's a great guy. He really is.
He better be.
He better have a personality.
He was on our. Yeah, he does. He was on our show
years ago, right?
Yeah, several years ago, and we had him back once. And he's this great guy, and he has a job now. And he's on every day, and I never comment about the disability or whatever. He's just a guy. And it's interesting because the audience, when they first see Kenny come across the stage, there's a gasp, kind of like, wow, I haven't seen that before. And it's a little, uncomfortable. You don't want to be staring or whatever. But honestly, within 5-10 minutes, he's walking around he's like he's everybody else, and that's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
And that's why you have him on TV, because he's just like you and I.
Well, he's just,
who are you kidding,
he
Jerry?
is just like you. He is just like
But
you.
he's there because he's a fine visual for us at home.
Taller. I'll give you taller.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
Some silly morning zoo in Iowa?
Yeah.
We got to call you out on that.
This is a gentleman with conspicuously shy in the leg department.
No. The show is about things that are really different and outrageous. That's absolutely true. It is.
Right.
But you're not going to watch once you've seen it, you're not going to keep tuning in every day to see him again because you see. So in the extent that does it really.
After a while, you just get used to him being there?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is he missing? Everything below his...
what is he missing, actually?
Everything below his belly button?
I assume I never.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And he comes walking out on the stage on his hands, and he just flies across the stage, and something happened with his show. I'm taking a peek again. I mean, 17 years, you're going to have some. It's like a roller coaster. You're going to have some highs and some lows.
I come down the pole to start the show. I was going to come down to Czechoslovakian, but I said no. So I slide down the pole.
Yeah.
To start the show now because we have a new set. That's exciting. Except I'm 63. I should not be sliding.
No, but you shouldn't.
But you're back up on a high. I know I'm taking a peek more often than I have in recent years, and I don't know why. There's just something different about the show. You brought the fighting back.
You're lonely. It never really left. It's what stations would show.
Right, yeah, they would edit out.
Oh, really? So if you were there, the show never changed. It's always...
It was just how
I would hate that. There were two people would square off, they'd go for each other, and then the camera would go to the audience, gasping and kind of looking around, and you'd be like, you're taking us right out of... Yeah. And then Jerry, we'll be back. I like the concerned Jerry face. Is my favorite...
No, that's hemorrhoids.
Is that hemorrhoids? Because I was wondering what that was. Like when somebody really gets upset... and somebody's yelling at them, Jerry will stand there and kind of look like, I'm kind of concerned about that person, and I don't really buy it.
No, the look is. Are they really going to run off the stage after me?
Oh, okay. Are you always thinking maybe you'll be a victim of?
That's all I think about.
That's all you think about some of these people?
You some can't see it right now, but I'm wearing a very expensive suit.
Yes.
And I think that, if that gets... I got to return it after the show.
Must up. It's going to be a problem.
The food fights are the worst because that food goes flying into the audience. Can you imagine? Because it's in Chicago and it tends to be a little bit of a tourist attraction. In other words, if you're going for a few days to Chicago, and particularly if you have college age kids or whatever, you'll probably say, "Hey,
let's go see Jerry."
Yeah, that's what happens. So people come to the show. Not all really necessarily. This is all they ever wanted to do in life, but it's a thing to do. And then, afterwards they're going to go into different places in Chicago, but a food fight breaks out on the stage, and the food's flying, and they, here's someone wearing their suit because later in the afternoon they're going out to some whatever meeting, and they've got... Oh, it's awful. I don't know why I'm laughing.
You got to think
of course
you got to think they're expecting something to happen while they're in that audience, though. What I love about Jerry Springer, you see these horrific things, and then he ends the show with that final thought. Like,
well, you got to have the final thought. It wraps it all up. It puts it in a context that doesn't make it like an exploitation program.
What was it?
Yeah.
There was one time you said what's the line?
You listen to this. I'm ashamed of you.
No, what was the line? Where you basically said the purpose of the show today, well, let's be honest, there was no purpose.
Yeah.
There was one where he just flat out admitted, look, there was no purpose to this.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, you got me.
He finally admitted it because usually, like Ann said, he tries to wrap it up into some kind of lesson or something.
But you can't every day go on and say, look, I have expenses. I need the money.
I just, this is my job, people.
So if you're not allowed to say that, then what's the next best thing? And I try to think of it's fun.
The audience members really seem to get into wanting to kick ass up on stage also.
That is more of in recent years development. It used to not be the case.
Yeah, now I mean they're lunging toward the stage to rip apart somebody.
There are people that actually work out 2 weeks before they're coming to the show, so they know they'll be in shape.
You lost the security guy is doing his own. Was Wilco?
Steve. Yes, Steve has his own show now.
Do you like his show?
And yes. I mean, I'm one of the producers. In other words, I have some interest in the show.
Sure.
Beyond just that he's a friend. So, yeah, I really wish that success. That's kind of scary, though. We're spawning other shows.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong at a lot of levels.
A spin-off.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
The pitch
We
must
are
be
starting-
fabulous,
this is-
right? In the Springer style.
This is God's truth. We're starting to get the kids of some of the original guests.
Oh, really?
So they procreated. They did.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
See?
The next generation. I can't even.
Then
the next generation.
There should be a little surgical room where they can be sterilized before they leave the Springer stage.
Yeah.
Because these people should not be procreating.
You have to put on athletic supporter with radiation in it. Just wear this for an hour and then go.
But that would be great. We ought to have a tremendous reunion show. Bring together the kids with their.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah.
And show both shows. You have a split screen. You see when their parents were on, and now you see when they're on.
Now, Jerry, you've
Don't change.
seen pretty much everything. Was there one moment where you were shocked? What was like the most shocking moment for you, where you were like, "Wow, I can't believe I'm seeing this or hearing this"?
The honest answer is I'm not sure anything is really shocking anymore. But even if you're nothing to do with the show, if you're a grown up, honestly, you may be surprised if something happens to someone you know. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing that's going to happen when you say, "Gee, I didn't know that could happen." So
yeah, you're right.
I'd be disingenuous to say that. But the story that I didn't get was years ago. This fellow was being stalked by a gay guy, and he cut off his own male organ. Mm-hmm. Thinking that the gay guy would lose interest in him then. So he took garden shears and just cut it off. And he came on the show. And it wasn't made up at all. They saw backstage, plus also the police report, the hospital report. He cut it off so that the gay guy would stop.
Wow.
Why wouldn't you just change your number? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's eeasier ways.
It's a big move.
Yeah. That's actually easier than changing a number. Have you dealt with the phone company?
And he was, yeah. Well, I hadn't thought
Isn't
of
that your next dirty job that you're doing?
Next is the last one.
The guy who has to clean the garden shears.
Yes. You can change your number, or for $19.95.
Call now.
One snip and that's it.
Wow, that's a bit brutal. The fights, there seems to be an abundance of what seem to be obese people going out with very skinny people. That love to punch each other. That seems to be.
You think that's the trend?
A big trend. Yeah. And or maybe attractive lost girls that are going out with guys that when they come on stage, people just lose their mind at how heinous this guy is.
Yeah.
And how he treats her like garbage. And these people call the show and want to be on. Do you search them out?
Called. Just fess up.
Well,
we're all friends here. Let's just because
there was the time in the tree fort.
How'd that squirrel get in here?
Well, the show's always the same, but
you'd never have like a week where you go, wow, we're kind of short on calls about this, that, or the other. Constant parade of people that want to expose their
thousands of calls,
their dirty laundry.
Yeah. I mean, we never have meetings where we sit around and say, what subject should we do next? It's just, we have these battery of phones there where people have to sift through which are the true stories, which aren't, or which are not outrageous enough. Because the truth is, even from corporate, we're only allowed to do outrageous. In other words, seriously, if you called up with a nice, warm, uplifting story, we have to send you to another show.
Yes.
We're not allowed to run it. So it's not like, oh, gee, how come you picked the outrageous one today? That's all we're allowed to do.
I love the niche thing where they ask for the phone calls, and it's like, if you're a lesbian daughter of a woman that's married to the man that you fell in love with after he had a sex change operation to become a woman, give us a call at Jerry. Like, wow, isn't that a little niche?
Yeah. But I'll tell you, right after that,
sitting there like, I think
the phone's lighting up.
Oh, really?
Crazy.
I'm thinking, wow, maybe 3 people will call for this one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The phones just light up.
Yeah, and we can. You can pick what state they're going to come from.
Oh yeah. Well,
it's obvious what states you like.
Yeah. Well, here's the.
I must say, there must be some line from the South up to Chicago that it must be called the Jerry Springer line.
Southwest has a new shuttle.
Yeah, it's the Jerry Springer shuttle. It's just fighting on the plane.
If you look at where all our guests are from, 90% of the people would say your guests are mostly from the South.
Yeah.
The reality is the only common denominator we could ever find, because in sheer number that actually is not true. Maybe rural, but not South. But what is true is the income level. That is it isn't age. It isn't like only kids and no older people. It isn't just the South. It isn't just black or white or whatever. The only common denominator tends to be, except for college kids that may be from wealthy parents, the income level. Below the average income level, that is what tends to be on the show. That's the only thing we found over.
Do they get paid?
15 years. No, because if you got paid, then you'd make up the stories to get the money.
Yeah.
So no, you don't get paid.
So they don't get
tell
paid.
the truth. That doesn't mean that there haven't been people that
embellish.
Well, they may embellish. The facts have to be true, and I'm sure we've been duped at times, but it's very difficult to do that now. Really, you sit there literally with a lawyer and a camera on you as you're signing and agreeing that everything you say is going to be the truth, and you're told that. And you're told that you're going to be sued if it's not, etc. So
you'll sue them for the $10 that they're earning.
People get out. People leave. People
really
get scared off. Yeah. So
what do you think the motivation is, if it's not money, for people to go on your show?
Well, everyone wants a shot at the Supreme Court at some point.
Is that it?
They want this on their resume.
Doesn't that pretty much ruin any chance that you're going to be a politician or sorry, actually the host himself was a politician.
Still am.
Hey, is there any story that you refused to run, like that they brought to you and you're like, maybe even that was mentioned and you're like, nah, it's just there's something about that, it's just too exploited or it's just too uncomfortable?
No, because we're not allowed. That's what it is. If I don't want to have the job, I guess I could quit. But I can't change. I don't own the show. I'm not allowed to say.
No, but was there an idea that was pitched or whatever? That you just
No, but I.
No, Jerry loves this stuff.
Yeah. Plus, I never know what the subject is, so I would never be involved at this level anyway.
Really?
When I go out, I get a card, and on the card are the names of the guests, but that's it. I'm not allowed to know what the subject matter is.
Wow, you don't know the subject matter before the show.
The first question always is, so what's going on? No, and the idea is it's better that way.
You get a natural reaction out of you also.
I'm going to like if you're interviewing me, we didn't go over what you're going to ask me. That it's better that way.
Basically, Jerry's admitting that he just calls it in.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for 17 years. He doesn't.
I don't want to know about it.
I don't need to know
Tell me when I got to be there.
Just tell me when the camera's on.
And sometimes I get someone else to call. Yeah, because otherwise you got to go to the phone. Oh no, you guys use mobile.
Yeah, show prep. What's that? We understand, Jerry.
Yeah,
believe me.
We're with you.
Try to phone it in on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's nice to see we're not the only ones that don't open our producers' emails. I guarantee they send it to him every day. Could you do a little prep? This is who we have on. He's just like,
this is true, and no one believes it, but it only came because it came up yesterday and in a discussion. I don't have email, and I've had so many people look at me now that apparently I figured most people did, but I'm meeting no one that doesn't have email. I really don't.
You don't have an email address.
I do not have email.
You're the guy. You're the last.
But I didn't realize. I knew most now.
You're the last guy in America.
I think
right
so.
Here.
You don't need it though, because you're one of the most recognizable names and faces in the country. It's almost like anything you need or whatever. You have accessibility that most of us don't have. I don't know why.
Being recognizable, it's like a messenger from Rome is going to identify.
No, but I'm saying like if you just
a roll of papyrus.
Gotta get
the
one
guy
of those.
needs an email.
Yeah, he does.
There's smoke signals in the sky. Oh, someone's trying to contact Jerry Springer.
The convenience we get out of email, he could get by just picking up the phone, having somebody just get what he needs him to get.
You do have a cell phone.
I have a cell phone, but it
has an antenna, doesn't it? That's one of those pull-out antennas.
Dial-up.
It's a briefcase.
It did until 2 months ago.
Oh, God.
I just got this. But it was funny because when I traded it in or whatever, and the guy says, here, you want me to switch, get whatever you have in to the new phone to transfer it? I had nothing in it. It's true.
You just use it as what it is, a phone.
Exactly. Now on my home phone I have a voicemail, but I don't have any voicemail and I don't have any numbers in it because I figure if I put numbers in it, then if I lose the phone, I'll forget the numbers. This way,
that makes sense, and you're right because I don't even know my home phone number. I don't even know my home phone number.
Yeah.
What's your number? Oh, damn, and I got to pull out my cell phone.
Number 4 on the speed dial. Basically.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
that's all. Number 4 on the speed dial. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't even write checks because I might forget the amount. I actually just bring the cash right to the... What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you?
You're 2007. You're a big star. Get some technology in your life, will you?
You have people with email.
You know something?
Oh, well, the office.
Right.
Well, the office has email.
Yeah.
But honestly, when was the last time you got an email that was good for you? I mean, it's always... Does anyone ever email you or even call you and say, by the way, where do I send the $50,000 to? It's always, you have to do this. It's always an instruction or someone complaining or whatever,
spam.
or bill you owe or something like this. It's never good news.
Our Buffalo ratings yesterday. That was a good email.
And that came through an email. Yeah.
It would have been... Congratulations on what you do.
Oh, we love it.
Just don't mention Chicago.
I'll go door to door.
If you could run around, maybe start your show going, hey, please listen to Opie and Anthony on WCKJ. That really would help us.
No, it's the final thought of the day.
Yeah, final thought. Please listen to my pals.
This was bad, but think about this.
But it never really, if you think about it, I lie every day because it's never the final thought, because I come back the next day and do another one.
Yeah.
So you think after 17 years, people would say, when it's time for Jerry's final thought, it's not. He's going to do another one tomorrow.
Final thought.
I've been fooled before. You're not going to get me 17 years in a row.
That's a lot of final thoughts. Oh, that's a lot of final thoughts.
You should do a show of final thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I figure if when Judgment Day comes, that's my only shot.
Yeah. Is the final look?
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm sorry
I did
for
the final
59
thought.
minutes, but good Lord. Remember when I said take care of yourself and each other?
And each other.
I summed up pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, we got to take a break. Jerry, what are we plugging today?
The show.
Just the show in general? Well, I don't know. Are you doing another dancing show? What do they got you doing on the side?
No, I guess the show 17 years, but I'm doing America's Got Talent again. I'm going to do that.
Oh, that's a good show.
Yeah, and then I do a show in England, and so
you're very, very busy. Yeah,
it's not busy. You're
busy.
Lucky.
You were on Dancing with the Stars. Were you on when Heather Mills was on?
No, I was the season before, and thanks to you guys.
Yeah, we kept
By the way, you SOBs, I'm telling you, you go through. You keep saying, "Oh, let's vote for Jerry."
See,
it was you that kept me on.
I'm glad you're bringing this up because we are convinced that we kept you on that show, and people are like, yeah, right, like you guys have that much power, and I were trying to tell these people out there we do have power, and we're going to keep Jerry on as long as we possibly can.
I've mentioned it in interviews.
Oh, you have?
No, really, when I'm on shows and they say, how come you stayed on so long? And I always say two things. One is I think people were just cheering because at the end I was vertical. And the other was that shows like Opie and Anthony kept saying, keep Jerry on. Look at that sucker.
Your legs were like, would you have like your kneecaps were given out on you?
Yeah, it was that. Plus...
Remember Jerry would call us and
you sweat.
Remember Jerry would call us in and just be like begging us, stop already. It was fun the first couple of times, but stop. You should thank the O&A Pest. They're listening right now. You just gave them a lot of power. See, this proves to them that what they do for us does work.
This pestering.
We have a whole network of pests. And they were the ones that were calling crazy.
They're pests.
Like crazy to keep you on that show.
Yeah,
if we want them to call and just disturb somebody, they'll do it. They'll look into their past. They'll look up addresses.
You have an army of pests.
It is real, and they are the worst.
There's a lot of radio shows. They have they have shows where they call their fans like they have an army or something. It's cute. They hand out stupid shirts and stuff. But these people are for real. If you have someone that did you wrong in your life, Jerry, tell us about it.
They'll look up their background. They'll find dirt on them. They'll post pictures.
Well, that's the peppermints.
Horrible.
The peppermints, which go
very underground.
Very underground.
Our fans are all sodomites.
This is tremendous.
Sodomites.
This is great.
You don't want to mess with the peppermints, Mike Rowe.
No, you're going to get.
They're out there. They're the ones that do all the secret ops.
Our dirty work.
You're going to get a call from the CIA.
The wet work.
Yeah, plumbers.
The O&A wet work.
You got your own plumbers.
We got our plumbers. Clean up some leaks.
All right, we got to take a break. Jerry Springer.
Jerry,
the great Jerry
wow.
Springer.
What can we say? The guy's been 17 years doing this, and I see no end in sight. Much to people's chagrin, but of course, if it works, man, it's great.
And, you got to check out the show just to see that guy walking around on his hands with half a body.
Well, that's an attention getter. And then you watch the show.
And then what
do you think?
Get entertained. No.
I know we're trying to wrap up, but I just remember something else. You got the scaffolding or something set up around the set. And then you have, who's up there? Because here's the problem. We only get to watch it. We can't hear what's going on because we're doing our show at the same time.
Oh, you should hear it. It's much better.
But who is up there, and why do you throw tomatoes at him?
Oh, that show you saw, yeah.
But it seemed like I've seen that same scenario a couple times.
Okay. After 17 years, why do you still ask why?
That's about the best answer.
Why did that? Yeah. There's never a purpose in any of it. What we do, you ever see in the audience, we have this literally wooden dummy sitting in the audience, and people will call in and say, "Why is that dummy there?" Right. I say, "Who you're referring to?"
Oh, okay.
But we have a dummy in the audience. We have a pole that has no purpose. We have the second level catwalk. We have people
catwalk. Thank you.
Catwalk. Yeah. There's no, what's the purpose to all of this?
There isn't one, and there doesn't have to be one.
If
you've been on the air for 17 years, you can do whatever the hell you want,
You're like
Jerry.
a modern-day P.T. Barnum there, Jerry.
Yep.
You could slide back up the pole.
Yeah, now there's a trick.
All right, we got to take a break. Jerry Springer, everyone.
Jerry, thank you so much.
And we're going to continue with Mike Rowe
success.
from the Dirty Jobs next. It's Opie and Anthony. You're checking out the Opie and Anthony Show. Still to come this morning, we got Steve Carell calling in a little while, actually. My God, man. And Chaz Palminteri from A Bronx Tale.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's on Channel 5 right now.
I guess he's doing that interview, and then he'll
doing
come in
the gamut.
He's a scary dude, man. He's very intimidating. Yeah. Look at him. He's very intimidating. That's him smiling, believe it or not.
In his movies.
Looks like he has big hands, too.
Huh?
Looks like he has big, just good face-slapping hands.
Yeah.
His performance, though, was
amazing.
Disgustingly good.
And we'll talk
one-man show of A Bronx Tale,
for 90
which he
minutes.
originally did before the movie. This is what he did, and then they made a movie of it, and now he's come back and he's doing the one-man show, and nothing but rave reviews.
Look at the mitts on him. Look at the size of his hands.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah, if there's any truth to what they say about the correlation, wow. God bless Chaz.
Big gloves.
Yes, big gloves.
We'll talk to Chaz. And really fast, to all the prize pigs, stop calling. We got a winner for the $1,000 today. I want to congratulate Robert. Robert won the $1,000 today. We'll have another chance on Monday after the weekend.
What a guy.
You know the deal out there, right? You're listening for a sound. We got to pick a sound for Monday.
For Monday.
You believe we're doing one of those? Mike?
A sound on Monday.
Yeah, we're doing. You hear a sound, you call in, you win money.
Honey, get in here. They're going to play the sound any second. Oh my God, it's breaking glass. Where's the phone?
Exactly.
Mike,
I told you to speed dial the number.
Mike has done a little radio in his day. Obviously.
He's got some experience in that.
You understand the prize pig concept, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
People that never listen to the show, they know when a contest comes up.
They could give a crap about you, your show, the
Don't know
station
what
you're
you
on.
do.
They just know that there's something cool that we're giving away.
It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to really be anything of.
No.
It could be like a coaster.
Sure.
Not at all.
It could be a Joey Bishop coaster.
Oh, well, that would go up in value today.
They'll set their alarm clock to try to win the Joey Bishop coaster. Here's Monday Sound. Between 7 and 7:30 on Monday, we're going to play this.
Spooky, scary, post becoming men becoming wolves.
There you go. It's a little longer than usual. But that's
if you
okay.
missed that,
yeah,
you're deaf.
And that sound clip will be up on onaradio.com, just in case you're confused now.
Yeah.
And then we explain the contest. It could be the easiest radio contest ever invented. Yeah. Not invented, but it's been,
What happens? You hear it and do something.
You just have to call.
You just got to call between 7 and 7:30 when that sound plays.
Like, just because I played that, now they're calling right now.
The phone ring because they think, you played it.
Even though you said Monday.
Right. Yes.
Exactly.
It's as though you didn't.
And then you got people, you give out the phone number, they start calling. We're like, why are you calling now? I just want to make sure the phone number works.
Just checking in.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. We've only got 48 hours before the critical time.
Yeah.
We're just running some
make sure all the phone lines work.
Phones are clear. Just we want to quiet in the room. Yeah.
And then we call them out. They call, and we're like, what do you like about the show? Oh, I like everything. All right, name one thing. Oh, there's so many to choose from. I just don't know. Well, just name one. And then they'll name the one thing they heard 2 minutes prior because they just started listening because they want to win the contest. We're like, how about something that we did yesterday?
Nah, radio was down. Satellite was down yesterday.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Anyway, enough babbling. It's Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, of course. He's promoting the Mike Rowe Dirty Jobs collection, Volume 1.
Am I?
Yep.
Am I doing that?
No, that's they're on DVDs now. It's
Yep.
Look, we know some people come in because they want to whore out their stuff. We know you come in to say hi.
I honestly...
It's just a coincidence that you have a DVD out.
I was about to suggest the reason I'm here is the 150th job celebration next week. I didn't even know about the DVDs, but that's great news. Do you know where they are?
150.
150, dude. And my endless gauntlet, my crucible, my march to oblivion.
Anthony couldn't wait for you to come in because he was talking to me before the show going, they're going to kill this guy.
I've been watching every episode of this season, the new season, and it's sort of mutating from just dirty jobs. The jobs are still dirty. They're jobs you wouldn't want to do. Thank God there are people that do these jobs. But it seems that they're getting a little more dangerous for you and your unsung heroes, your crew.
Yeah.
Is getting some collateral damage is going on.
There's been a lot of fallout. There's always been an element to the show of, be careful, don't do that. What kind of bet did you lose?
Yeah.
But now, it seems that the country has painted some sort of target on us, and it's well-meaning, but the idea that at the end of every show we ask people for ideas, I mean, I literally beg them to go to the site because they're programming the show now, but they have interpreted that as sort of an open season.
It's like a challenge.
Right. So
let's throw darts at them.
Yeah. Hey, this would be interesting.
It's not a job, but I mean, let's just do it.
Yeah.
You're probably getting some dumb ideas.
Breathtaking. Breathtaking. Have you thought about that body farm thing where you could be the cadaver? Have you considered, it'd have to be like the last show, but we think it would just be great in the heartland.
I can only do it once. Like Daffy. He's gone into situations where, I was a little nervous when you were digging the tunnels with that big piece of machinery.
The road header.
Yeah.
Incredible machine.
You're underground, and you're digging these tunnels with this huge machine.
Yeah.
And what was it, for wine?
Yeah, we were building a wine cave up in Napa, and, it's a very specified kind of thing, and it has a very specified machine. It looks like it looks like the machine from the Schwarzenegger movie.
Total Recall.
Yeah, exactly. These giant
where he goes, "Screw you, Benny," and he puts the big drill through it and kills Benny.
Except it's a lot bigger than Benny or the drill in that one.
Yeah.
It's great fun to drive the thing just through the,
I've been into some of these wine caves. I thought they were natural caves. Stupid me. They actually make those things.
Oh, they drill these things out, but then after you said afterwards they spray some kind of
one of the worst jobs
concrete.
It's called shotcreting.
Yeah, shotcreting.
So picture a garden hose that spews out concrete instead.
Yeah.
And on the ceiling.
On the ceiling.
You're under it. Hideous job. Because it all falls back in your eyes.
Of course it would.
Why wouldn't it?
But how's that supposed to protect the thing from collapsing?
I don't know.
That's just it. Now, how about before they spray it? I'm thinking you're in this machine making a lot of vibrations and noise. How does this not just cave in on you?
I don't know.
Yeah, you were in there.
This is what Anthony
I'm talking about.
I was asking questions, Mike.
And even when he's outside of the cave, he's outside at the breakthrough point. Yeah. This is right before it broke through. He puts his head near where it's going to break through and goes, "Yeah, this should be where it comes out."
I hear something.
Yeah, I hear something. And meanwhile, there's just this auger, big machine thing coming through at him. Look, Mike, move. I'm talking on this TV. Mike, move your head.
Move out of the way.
What are you doing?
I've made some mistakes. I admit it. My philosophy, as you know, is just get through the day and get out. Statistically, I'm still in a safe place.
Are you?
Probably not. But I'm telling myself this.
The other one was the cement mixer had me very nervous for your future health.
Good for you, because nobody ever brings that up. It was a little tiny job, but to this day, out of the 150 we've done, it's in the top 10 or the bottom 10 for just pure.
You were miserable.
Which one is this?
Every time a cement truck drum turns, and you see them, turning as they go down the road, whatever. Every time that happens, a thin layer of concrete forms on the inside. At night, across the country, fleets of cement trucks are parked in giant holding areas, and men descend upon them. They crawl inside because the interior of the drum has shrunk in size by about 60% because all the cement's hardened. So they crawl in with these pneumatic jackhammers that weigh about 100 pounds, and they just wail away at the concrete to get the drum back to its original size. It takes all night for one truck. The sound is deafening. Your eyes are covered. Your ears are covered. Your mouth is essentially covered.
And you're inside, obviously, so the echoing of
it is so unspeakably loud.
It's
like walking in a bathroom at the Hilton with a machine gun and just shooting it up. It's so loud you just can't even get your head around.
One of those hammers, hammer drill, jackhammer type things you were using are loud outside.
Yeah.
If you walk past a sidewalk where they're using one outside, you have to cover your ears.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he's in a cement mixer. He went through a little hole that I don't even know how you fit through, and getting out was hysterical, by the way.
It's awkward.
We'll talk about that. He gets in, and he starts drilling, and it just looked like you were making no headway.
None.
Whatsoever. And there was a cloud of dust in there that is just broken up cement. And at one point, you pull your mask off and start talking. And I go, unless he could talk without breathing, he is effing his lungs up so bad. I was like, I'm screaming at the TV, Mike, put the mask back on.
Now, you realize when that happens, I can't hear you, right?
I try to talk to I think you can, because I'm wearing my tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
And I know the sound of the day.
I'm talking to him.
Could you give Anthony your private cell phone number so he can help you out? That's basically what he's getting at.
It was so distressing to watch and so claustrophobic for me to watch you in there.
Yeah. No, it's just another moment where intense incompetence meets wild optimism. And I have, my job is to, from time to time, relate the hell of it to the viewer. Mm-hmm. So, it's tough to do that when you're wrapped in bubble pack and completely sealed up. So you take the mask off and you make your point.
You do realize you don't have to do this anymore, right? You're a big star.
I don't know how
Maybe
to
in
make
the beginning, you went from the home shopping thing to the dirty jobs or whatever, a couple stops in between, I'm sure. But now you're like a huge star. You don't have to get dirty anymore.
It's getting weird. It's getting weird. But the dirt, you know what? I have a theory, and maybe it's rooted in wild insecurity, but I do believe that, the reason strangers buy me beers and girls say inappropriate and nice things is because they feel fundamentally sorry for me.
Right.
And like
Yes.
Nancy's saying, I think there are lots of people looking at the television, shaking their head and maybe talking to me. Again, I can't hear them either. It's not just you.
Yeah.
But, people...
I hope you couldn't hear them also. You're just not tuning me out. You're offended.
People are hopeful that I might be back, and I am too, but I just had never really thought of it in those terms. I think never underestimate the power of poo or pity.
Yeah, both of those are very big.
What's
on
next
the show?
For you?
Rehab, and then straight to the ER. We have another season, incredibly, that somehow or other I've agreed to. Next week, we're celebrating, literally, the 150th job, a 2-hour thing. I went to the San Francisco dump. They let me come in. They let me invite back the craziest of the crazy people who've been on the show, and they gave me dozens of garbage trucks to chauffeur them in. I roll out a brown carpet full of rotten fruit, and these people walk down it. We built a horrible, crazy midway from hell full of disgusting games of chance. It's going to be great.
My dad used to take us to the dump because we were redoing our house, so we were taking loads and loads to the local dump.
Oh, my God, you scared the crap out of me. I thought you were making the trip the other way, like redoing your house with stuff.
Honestly,
I did too. Because some of the stories Opie's told
honestly,
with his impoverished youth.
Honestly, you're sort of correct. My dad would see something laying around like, I think I could build a shelf with that.
One man's trash.
No, I'm not joking.
Treasure.
We would bring stuff back to the house, so you're not that off. But it's the worst smell ever.
Yeah, dumps are really...
Do people understand how bad a dump smells?
No, they don't. And let me tell you,
I can't think of something I've smelled worse in my life than just being in a dump.
I can make you list.
Well, I know. It's like having I'm challenging freaking Mike Rowe.
I can think of something that smells worse, and I can give you names.
There's a room at the dump that most people don't know about, and it's the room underneath the main transfer station. They call it the pit. And in the main area, in San Francisco anyway, where they bring the organic stuff, the non-organic, all the stuff that's ultimately separated, anything that's fluid will leak through designed cracks in the floor and coagulate in this giant pit of disappointment. And men go down there periodically to unclog the drain in that thing.
Oh my!
And I'm telling you, we do that in an episode. I don't know when it's coming in a couple months, but it's called the transfer station, and it is simply one of those places that'll haunt your dreams.
There should just be automated.
Yeah.
You would think.
You would think they would figure out, look, we can't ever send people down there.
Yeah.
This has to be a completely automated system.
That's going to be a robot job eventually.
Well, you can only hope.
We figure out that robot thing.
Yeah, but if the robot breaks, someone has to go in and fix it.
Fix the robot. Yeah, there'll be Mike Rowe fixing a robot down in the pit. Oh, Jesus. Thought I was safe from this job.
Hey, did you see any roaches and rats when you're in the dump?
I saw things crawling and things moving. I can't identify them as roaches or rats because they were just completely covered in excrement. But I imagine they were. If they weren't, I don't know. Something toxic is spawning.
Another episode that really got me a little nervous for you was the snakes.
Oh yeah,
where you're transferring the snakes from one place to another. For some reason, I never really figured out why the snake had to go from point A to point B. Yeah. But they were giant constrictors, and then you went into the rattlesnake pit.
That's true.
Which was
ill-advised.
Ill-advised and worse than the constrictors.
Yeah.
And the way you absolutely, Mike had to grab a snake by the neck from a box of snakes. There's a box of snakes. And it's like, okay, see the one on top? Grab that. And it took him so long. They went to break, came back.
Were you shaking?
I was still there. Yeah. I mean, it's when your brain is very specific with you, telling you in no uncertain terms not to do a thing, but you know intuitively that it has to happen. It creates a certain level of tension.
Yeah, you did not want to do that.
No, I didn't want to do that. I do a lot of things I'd prefer not to do.
I know the impression, too, you get with a snake is, I'm not faster than him.
There's no way you're faster.
And if he wants to, as I'm grabbing, that head's going to turn around and just grab me right there. And
yeah, I'm not looking at my hand at this point. My face is about 3 feet from it as well.
Yes, these things are within striking distance.
They'll pull your larynx out easily. Easily.
It's just not something you should be doing at this point in your career.
We got to jump.
Well, I just want to interrupt really fast because we got Steve Carell checking in as well.
Oh, geez. No,
well, Mike's doing the hang, so we'll pick up where you.
Oh, absolutely.
Where we're at.
I'm a huge fan of the show.
I want to say hi to Steve Carell. Steve.
Hey.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on the Opie and Anthony show. How are you, sir?
I'm well. I don't mean to leave the story hanging.
No, it's okay. We got a good friend of ours, Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs.
Hey, Steve. And you know what? It's not much of a story. I was making most of it up anyhow. It had no clear ending. Yeah. So thank you.
Well, I'll make up most of what I'm going to say, too.
Excellent.
Yeah, so he's a good friend of the show. So we'll get back to Mike in a bit. But how's it going, Steve?
It's going very well.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have absolutely nothing to complain about.
Yeah, you like. I used to love you watching you on The Daily Show, and then all of a sudden you just branch out and become like now you're in every movie that's being made.
I am a brand name now.
Yeah, he is. and now here's the thing: you put out some comedies, very successful. And then this movie now, your latest movie that's out.
Dan in Real Life.
Yeah, Dan in Real Life. I actually saw a trailer for it on TV the other day where the deep voice guy went, in an Oscar-worthy performance, Steve Carell. And I'm like, okay, all right, I love Steve, love his movies, but hold on a second.
What is going on with Steve Carell?
Every time I introduce myself now, I'm going to say, for your consideration.
I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I loved him on The Daily Show, back to you, John, and now it's Oscar-worthy performances.
Yeah, it seems like give me a break. Stop it. Don't push it. You know what? I have to say, I am performing with an Oscar-winning actress, so that part of it was a bit surreal for me.
Who is she?
Juliette Binoche. It plays my love interest, and I know people have been begging for a Juliette Binoche Steve Carell movie, and we finally have it. It's here, and it's coming up next week.
Your wait is over. Your wait is over.
The obviously the big break was the 40-year-old virgin for you, and what did you think going from kind of a player on the Daily Show to having that goddamn billboard everywhere where you had that angelic little face and it was just a giant face of you? You had to be thinking, this better work or I'm really going to look silly.
You know what? I had no idea whether it would work or not. I remember the first day I was driving around Los Angeles and I drove by Universal Studios, and the first poster was put up right outside Universal Studios, and it was this enormous poster of me essentially looking like a jackass. And I thought, wow, that is real. And of course my kids did not understand in any way, shape, or form driving around the city what Daddy was doing up on these billboards, and thought I was a little weird. But yeah, I mean, when we were making it, we had no idea that it would do as well as it did. We just thought we would make something that that we felt would be funny or entertaining, but we had no idea that people would actually like it as much as they did.
Yeah, it completely took off, and then I guess the offers start a rolling in.
Oh man, The Office, Little Miss Sunshine. It's your resume is just amazing, Steve.
Hey, Steve, were you really?
I also know that it could end as quickly as it came. So
yeah, that's got to kind of scare you when it happens like that.
Well, I feel like I just sort of have to, it's such a cliche, to live in the moment of it and just sort of enjoy it while it's here, because, you see these horror stories all the time of people starting to believe that this will continue and they will be successful for eternity, and that's generally not what happens. So I'm honestly very happy for everything I've been able to do, and if it doesn't continue like this, that's fine. My kid's college is now paid for. So,
yeah.
And truly, that was like one of my main concerns. So
isn't that great? It's fine when everything gets paid for, and then it's like, now I can relax a little bit if something happens.
I've got some money in the bank for them, so they'll be able to. And it is. I mean, we did like an advanced look at what college will be, because I have a 3- and a 6-year-old. And it is
a little early for college
to pay for that.
Literally hundreds of dollars.
No, but
perhaps more than that, Mike.
Yeah, but
and hundreds of dollars.
But Steve's bringing up a good point. There's a new thing out there where you see the age of your child, and then you can fast forward, and they tell you how much college is going to cost when they turn 18.
Yeah,
and the numbers are just. I don't even know how parents are going to afford college in the coming years.
I don't know.
You got to put out hit movies and be on a hit TV show.
Right.
I just recommend people should do a hit movie. I think that's the wisest.
That's great advice.
Yeah, why not?
Career advice. That's great.
How are you going to continue on The Office with the movie career taking off?
You know what? It's worked out fine so far. They've been really nice about letting me out and doing things outside of the show. So
when you were first approached with The Office, were you a little leery about because Gervais did such a great job playing such a douche?
Yeah.
Were you a little nervous about taking that role on?
I wasn't, and part of it was because of my own ignorance, because I agreed to audition before I'd seen the original show. And then I watched some of it, and that's when I got nervous before my callback for the show, because he's so good that there was no way I'd be able to match that. And I felt the more I watched of him, the more I'd be inclined to do an impersonation of him. So.
But the good thing is, like, you're an Americanized version of what a tool he is. Like, you really put across an uncomfortable performance and person. It's difficult to watch, yet you're compelled to keep watching.
Yeah, and you definitely don't do an impression of him whatsoever.
No,
you made it your own.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate. You know what? He's been really supportive of our version of it, and he's a he's a very, very good guy.
Yeah.
So he's been a fan of ours, and he's an executive producer, and he and his writing partner wrote one of our episodes last season. And actually, Stephen Merchant, who is one of the co-creators, is going to direct one of our episodes in a couple weeks.
Hey, was Stephen Colbert really your understudy at Second City?
He was, yeah. When I was on Main Stage, he was my understudy, and there was one show in which I played the baritone horn, and in order to understudy for me, in 3 weeks, he learned how to play the baritone horn from scratch. So he is a very
he's quite talented
and driven man.
Yeah, his show is very good. He found kind of a niche for himself with that Colbert Report.
It's amazing the talent just marching through the Daily Show. It really is.
I know Ed Helms on The Office now, and Rob Corddry is doing all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a good run of people.
You guys have left Jon Stewart just languishing at a humiliating, no-end job.
Poor guy.
You should have treated us better, John. We're going to take you with us to Hollywood.
We got Dan in real life.
Springboard. Now I'll never talk to you.
John used to do our show all the time, but he's a busy guy. He just re-upped, I guess. It hit the papers today.
He's 2 years, He wants to do a show.
Hey, Steve, so Dan in real life, the movie's getting a nice buzz out there, huh?
I love it. It is getting a good buzz.
You like the seg there?
Yeah. No, you know what? I saw it a couple months ago. It turned out really well. I think people like it. It's funny and it's sweet without being sort of cloying and overly sentimental. And it's good. I think it's a good movie.
If Art Carney won an Oscar for Harry and Tonto, you could absolutely win one for this.
Oh, you know what? I'll definitely win an Oscar. Wow. I don't see how I possibly could not. I think the odds are against me not winning an Oscar.
And our pal Dane Cook is in this with you. It comes out.
You know what? He's really, really good in it. He gets a lot of flack, I know, but I have to say, he turns in a really good performance. He's really underplayed, and he's a very sweet guy. Yeah. So I think people are going to be very pleasantly surprised by him.
He's always been good to us. So.
It's next Friday, obviously not today. Next Friday, October 26th, the movie comes out. Dan in real life, and you're on quite a roll, so I'm sure this won't be any different.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Why did we all just stop talking?
We were just contemplating the role that he's on.
Yes.
Internally pondering our own blessings.
Basically, Jimmy just got everyone depressed in the room, so we all had to just sit there.
Why?
Kind of take a deep breath
we're all doing well, but not as well as this kid.
Yeah, you basically had to point out how great he's doing, and we're just doing the same old crap day in and day out.
I'm just thinking of the time I passed on the correspondent role at The Daily Show 5 years ago, going, that was super shrewd, Mike. Yeah, that was good. Good thing.
Yeah, that was a reality check from Jim. That's what you heard there on the other end there.
Well, no, we're really happy for you, just because you're far more successful than any of us. We don't begrudge that at all. And I certainly don't pray for your death, so there's one spot that opens up that maybe I could squeeze into.
No, I've rejected all of my past relationships at this point.
All right, Steve, thank you so much for calling our show. We definitely appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's Dan in Real Life. It comes out next Friday, October 26th.
Check it out.
Yeah. All right, Steve. Thank you.
Continued success, sir.
Good luck, man.
Go get that Oscar, sir. Go get it. Steve Carell. All right. We got to take a quick break.
If he ever won, that would be hysterical to replay.
Oh, yeah.
Him just talking about how he's definitely winning.
Definitely going to win the Oscar.
We're going to continue with Mike Rowe after the break for another 3 minutes, and then we got
What else would I do? That's great.
You picked a weird day, but you were last minute. It's
the story of my life. Look,
last minute.
That's all right.
We get the call. Mike wants to come in and say hi to you guys. It's been a while. I'm like, yes. We would never say no to you, but today is just so freaking busy.
Hey, man.
We haven't had anybody on in weeks, and now today we got like 5-6 guests. Yeah. Chaz is here, so now we got to take a break and get him in. So then we'll get back to you in another 20 minutes from now.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm just looking at the coffee cup here, wondering, it's just beautiful. The way everything's coming together for me.
Total lack of respect for the man here.
Every time Mike Rowe comes in, I walk home going, we'll never see him again. we just don't treat him right.
Treated him like crap.
And I don't know why we do that. We like Mike Rowe. We want him around.
Because that's his job.
Yeah, what's on YouTube now? What humiliating thing can we find?
I know.
God damn.
He's
He's on a rocket ship. His career is just skyrocketing, and we treat him like crap. Maybe he's the one that'll bring us with him.
Why is there toilet paper?
Don't ask. Don't ask, sir.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Our next contest.
Yeah. Yeah.
The sound of the day.
Don't touch anything in front of you. It's Opie and Anthony. Yeah, it's the Opie and Anthony show. The show is flying by. We got Mike Rowe still in studio from Dirty Jobs. We're going to get back to you, Mike. I promise.
Oh, I'll be fine. I'm fine.
We've been blowing off Mike all morning long because there's just a Congo line of guests coming through here today for some reason. And speaking of which, we got the great Chaz Palminteri. I say your name wrong every time. I'm sorry for that, Chaz.
But he's not a paisan, so he doesn't know.
That's all right.
But we saw A Bronx Tale here in New York City Wednesday, Jimmy and I, and Chaz walked in. I ran right up to him, shook his hand, and I just said, unbelievable performance. We were blown away. I want to say what I said to you personally. I never saw a standing ovation happen faster in my life. I go to the theater every once in a while or whatever. But, I was saying sometimes you're in a theater and you're not sure if you should stand up for the performance, and then maybe one person stands up and gets it going, and then the momentum starts.
Exactly, right.
When that play ended on Wednesday, it wasn't even a question. Everyone just stood up at the same time and just gave you a standing ovation, and that had to feel good.
It does feel, it feels great. It feels great, Opie. It's been happening every night, so I'm real excited that the people are really responding this way.
It's an amazing thing to go up there by yourself for over an hour and a half and put on a performance like that. If the people don't appreciate that, they're crazy. That's why you get that standing ovation instantly. It's just an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's just Chaz. It's the set is very, very simple. There's not much going on with this. The set. You got the street corner, you got the stoop, you got the bar, and that's about it.
That's about it. All the rest is in my mind and in my imagination that I make the people see. That's the idea of that.
The amazing thing is, though, if there's not one moment where you feel like you're watching somebody act, it was really depressing to watch. Like, it was so good. It was like there's one scene where you point, like you're saying, this is where the candy store used to be or something,
right.
Like you're gesturing, and it's just part of the stage curtain. And you don't feel like somebody is gesturing to a stage curtain. You feel like a guy's just walking you through his old neighborhood. And I know if I did it, I would be like, and this is where the thing is. It would just be awful. And it was just amazing to watch a guy tell a story so seamlessly for an hour and a half. It really was. It was beautiful.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
And one other thing before you get into the actual play. Just before it started, I ran up to where Jimmy was sitting. I go, they should have had a metal detector for this joint, man. A lot of wise guys coming out to see you there, Chaz. I looked around. I didn't feel too comfortable.
Certain clientele, maybe, that enjoys
there's a certain clientele that comes down and sees some guys from my old neighborhood came to see the play, and it was pretty exciting. No, they really liked it.
It's like the wedding in the original Godfather. They all just showed up.
Right.
Now, how did this come about? Because obviously you did this before the movie,
right?
And then the movie was based on your one-man show.
It was based on this play, yes.
And so how did this come about now to come back and do it again?
Well, I thought about doing it again. I've been thinking about it for a long time. And then I said, you know what, I'm young enough to still do it because it is like a marathon. And I said, I think I should still do it, because I really wanted the message that it gave to young kids, to young people, about the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And so many people have seen the movie and said, I saw that film, it changed my life. Or a guy said, my son saw the film, I took him to see it, and, he was fooling around with drugs, but he realizes now he don't want to waste his life. So it had an impact on people, and I knew that the play even has a stronger impact when you see it in person. Mm-hmm. So I said, I still I want that message to get out there. I want to do it again, and what better place to do it on a world stage than on Broadway? And I decided to do it.
And it's true that people know it's the story of Chaz and the gangster Sonny.
Yes.
And De Niro, I think, it was this story is that he wanted to play Sonny, and you said no.
No, that's not true. No, I know a lot of people have said that, but that's a misconception. Actually, when I did the play, everybody wanted to make the movie. It became the hottest property in LA since Rocky, and every writer, director, producer wanted to do it, but they didn't want me. They wanted a star in that role. And so I said, look, I got two conditions. I play Sonny and I write the screenplay. And they said, it's not going to happen. I mean, they offered me like $250,000, and I said no. And I didn't have no money at the time. I said, I didn't care. I said, I play and I write it. And they said no. But in Hollywood, when you say no, it means, he really means he wants more money. I know what he's saying. So then about a month later, they offered me $500,000. doubled it. And again, I said, do I? And they said, no. I said, forget it. So about, I would say a few months later, I was with William Morris then. I signed with William Morris at the time. And they called me in and they offered me, I went in and I sat down and the guy put a piece of paper across the table and he said, sign that piece of paper. You have a check for $1 million tomorrow. And I looked at him, I swear to God, and I said, is there a bathroom around here? And he said, what? I said, is there a bathroom? He said, yeah, right over there. And I walked into the bathroom. I'll never forget it. I walked into the bathroom, and they were all waiting in the big conference room. And I looked in the mirror, and I had some water, put it on my face. I looked, and I went, nah. I really said something else,
You went, He just mouthed what he really said. I think they can figure it out there.
And I said, nah. I said, I'm playing it, and I walked back out, and I said, look, I'll sign that paper, but I write the screenplay, and I play Sonny. And they said, he just looked at me and said, the movie will never happen, Chaz. And I said, you probably won't with you, but it'll happen. And he said, why is that? I said, because it's too good. And I went back and I started doing the play again. And then Robert De Niro saw it. And he came backstage and said, look, I know the insanity that's going around in Hollywood, that you want to play Sonny and you want to write the screenplay. I'll tell you my feelings. He says, I think you'll be great as Sonny, and you should write the screenplay because it's about you. He goes, I'll play Lorenzo, I'll direct it, and if you shake my hand, that's the way it will be.
Wow.
I shook his hand, and that's the way it was.
It would have been funny if you made De Niro read for it.
Oh, please, no.
You ass. You and Jimmy have someone in common, De Niro, and the only reason I bring this up because it made the paper today, being turned down for a picture with De Niro made the Post today. By the way, you should tell Chaz to his face.
I don't want to embarrass you. De Niro was very nice. He was nice about it. He was very pleasant. But I asked him for an autograph, and I just a picture. I tapped his arm. I'm like, Bob. I called him Bob. That he would think I knew him because I'm like, he's so famous, he won't realize I'm a nobody. He'll think we did a gig together. And he looked at me. I'm like, can I have a picture? And he goes, no. All right. But he was very pleasant. He wasn't being a jerk. He's like, if I take one, a lot of people will ask. I just want to go say hi to Billy because he was talking to Billy Crystal, and it was just,
we bring it up today because it made page 6 of the Post.
I told the story.
No, but Bob, let me
just want to embarrass Jimmy in front of him.
He's really a great guy, but he is right about that. If you take one picture, you're done. You're dead. That's it. So I do understand what he's saying.
I wanted to tell him, look, I've talked to everyone. They won't bother you. They've elected me the lucky boy. And obviously, Dov Davidoff is a buddy of mine, a very funny comic. He knows.
I know Dov very well. He's very funny.
And we did a Chaz Brothers. Remember, we did a table read a long time ago. It was for the 50s comedy. It was with the guy from Second City.
Second
TV.
City, that's right. Yes,
and
that's right.
I love watching you stumble over trying to get Chaz Palminteri to remember you.
No, he doesn't remember.
No, I do remember.
I was so bad he blocked it out like a childhood episode. I don't play with it. It's terrible. The play was good, but I was just like, he's like, I was so nervous.
That takes a lot of personal confidence to turn down that much money when you're broke, you're saying, to stick to what you believe in.
Right.
And I guess obviously you believed so much in this story.
Yes.
To not take that money.
I just believe that because you know what it was. Everybody wanted to make it, Anthony. Everybody. I mean, it was like insane. And I knew sooner or later somebody would step up to the table. If
there's that much of a frenzy over it, it's not just going to get brushed under the carpet.
I mean, there's always a chance, but you know what? I always believe in divine intervention, and I'm a very spiritual person. I just said, you know what? It'll be okay. I'm going to do this. I feel it, and I did it.
And you can't picture anybody else in that role but you. You really can't. Whether you see the play or watch the movie, it's just that is you.
Yes.
That's your role.
It was my role, and I knew that, and I said, this is my ticket, and, and then, when I did that, and then Bullets, and then Usual Suspects, and then I never looked back after that.
Yeah.
It was fun about watching the play. It was so, like, when you act, there's certain things that, like, become embarrassing. Like I'm so fear-filled and just terror-filled that I'm going to be exposed for a fraud. And watching you do every bit of it without any shame and without any fear, like, that was what was so great to watch.
You're comparing yourself to Chaz Palminteri.
Well, I mean, men of similar ilk.
Similar ilk?
No, but just to watch.
You both have feet.
No, I mean, I look at a stand-up comic and I go, oh my God, please, that's like insane.
That is frightening.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at what you do, and that's, to me, I go, oh, no way, But you see, what I do is I get on stage and I hide behind characters and I just do all these characters, but that's a whole nother thing that.
Well, when you were playing the 9-year-old and talking to Sonny, I'm like, how is he doing this? And it was so believable.
There was not one cheesy moment with, like, you would play different guys, and you never felt like he's, like Opie thinks, he's not turning around and turning around making another face at you. It was just like a flawless interaction between 3-4 people, a father and a son, and it was perfect, man.
We were talking about that. We've been talking about it ever since we saw it, and there's a few scenes where you're playing 5 or 7 guys. I'm like, what? And you're not confused at all as the person in the theater. You're just sitting there and you're following along very easily.
I really had to. What happened was I remember rehearsing that, and I was I used to rehearse in the theater from 12 to 4 in the morning because that's the only time that was available. And I remember hours and hours of doing that, hours of just constantly, because you had to be really clear, because like you said, you have to make people know who's talking at what time. So I would just constantly, and I couldn't get it, and I kept trying. Then finally, I found the rhythm, and I got it, and I just rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. I mean, this is not, I always tell people, kids come and the actors come and they say, how did you write that? And I go, wait a minute, look, don't think I just sat down and wrote this. I wrote a 10-minute piece, and then I performed it for my workshop. I did a workshop, and then I wrote more, and out of that 10 minutes, I took 6. Out of another 20 minutes I wrote, I took 3, and I kept shaping it till finally, after almost a year, I had 95 minutes of this show and a year of rehearsing it constant every day, 6 days, hours a week, and said, okay, now I'm going to try to explode with this thing. So it was a lot of hard work involved here.
And in the movie, most people have seen the film and now we've seen the play. It's about, part of it is where you meet a black girl and you guys like each other, and it's a very weird time to be doing that. And I had to ask, whatever happened with her? I mean, that was like a big question I had after the film.
A lot of people have always said that to me, Jimmy, but no, we just, we were together for a few months, and then you're 16, 17, and then it just kind of, when you're that age, you don't break up, it just goes away.
You move on to the next one.
Yeah, you just move on to the next one.
The next conquest.
After putting so much work into the play before the movie,
right?
Because you're saying, it's 6 minutes here, and then you take 10 minutes into. Were you happy with the way the movie came out, with the direction and the
God, yes,
the casting and everything?
I always said that I was blessed to get Robert De Niro to do this, because he was the perfect director. Because he said to me, I'll never forget it, he says, you can do this with a lot of people, Chaz. He goes, but if you make it with me, I'll make it right. And you know what? He made it right, and I wouldn't change a frame.
Yeah.
He did a tremendous job.
That's got to be great too, because with all the passion you have for it, if the movie would have come out and you wouldn't have been happy with it,
I was in such great hands with him. He was, he was a director, and he's such an artist. He's like the greatest actor in my generation that I've ever seen, and a great artist. I mean, director too. He's just an incredible artist.
Did it take a lot of work to do this again now after so many years of not doing the play? Did you fall right back into it?
I thought it would be scary, but it kind of fell right back. I mean, I rehearsed it for so many years before I did it. I kind of just started to come back. I mean, I needed a few weeks to get my chops back together.
Sure.
But once that happened, it's flowing really great now.
Do you mix it up from night to night? Or is it all memorized?
It's all memorized, obviously, but there's times when I go in, and sometimes when I know certain wise guys around the audience that came to see it, I'll say their names. I'll say, and all the big wise guys from all over the neighborhood were there, Joey G, and if I know they're out there, I go, Bobby B, and they'll go, oh, man. He put me in the play, man. He put me in it. Meanwhile, every night I'm saying different guys.
You would think they would stand up and go, shh.
Oh, no, they get a kick out of it.
They all love it, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Of course they do.
It was really amazing, an amazing story. It's like, to me, to be able to entertain a room full of wise guys, as well as like square guys like myself and old people, like to tell one story and have everybody captivated and everybody feeling emotion at the same moments and everybody laughing at the same moments. Because you talk about stand-up, there was some really funny lines in it which were delivered perfectly, which annoyed me. I was like, maybe he'll trip on the jokes. That always made me feel a little bit better about myself, but every line was delivered.
He's such a bastard, man.
But it was just, the jokes were great. I mean, when they were there, they belonged, and that's what I liked about it, is everybody just loved it for the same reason.
And I got to embarrass Jimmy. he had a tear in his eye, Chaz.
Well, it was just watching.
He really did.
So good at acting. Just to watch someone so good at it, it was just it was like just really amazing to go.
Well, I think with the pieces, what people are responding to is it's really. I mean, the play is much funnier than the movie. It's very funny, but it's also it's got a lot of heart, and you really feel it at the end. You know?
I'm not going to give away the way the play is done, because even though it tells the same story as the movie, there's a couple of things that you don't see coming in the play. But there's just one part that let's just say that the noise drops out of.
Right.
And it gets quiet, and it was beautiful.
Oh, well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Did you have any differences? Did you feel you had to change something from before the movie till after the movie, now that you're doing it because of the movie? Did you feel you had to change a few things?
That's a very good question. Jerry Sachs is directing it. Jerry Sachs has been nominated for eight Tonys, won 4 of them. A brilliant director, and I was in such great hands with him in the play, and I have to bring him up because he really knows funny, and what he did and that's why this version of the play is actually better than the original version, because he really was very seamless in his direction and having me really make changes and saying, okay, you could slow down here. We don't have to go so fast. Trust it, Chaz. And his direction with the lights, and Paul Gallo on the lights, and John Gramado on the sound and music. He put a great team together, and he knows funny. Certain directors know funny. You know how that is, Jim. Either you know funny or you don't know funny. This guy knows funny. And he would say, take a little more pause there. It's funnier. And I would take a pause there, and sure enough, boom. Hit the people laughing. I go, look at that. He would say, that's funnier, Chaz. You don't have to rush that. And I would hold it back, and yeah, it was funnier, So, it's a teamwork. I'm in great hands with people like that.
It had a lot of callbacks in it too. I noticed, like the joke callbacks, which was just just explaining guys from the neighborhood, or the guy Sonny constantly telling people to throw this guy in the bathroom, and it just was a great callback throughout the entire play. And and it got a laugh every time.
Mush. Well, you know how it is. If it keeps getting a laugh, call it back. Call it back.
I do, believe me, and I'll do like 8 more until it finally, once the laugh dies, I just keep going.
Now.
Send a message.
Are you in your personal life and throughout your career? How different are you from the character you portray? You're very intimidating, sort of a heavy on screen and on stage. Is that you? Is it a part of you?
Well, it's a part of me. It's a part of me. I mean, I grew up with these guys. I mean, and I always say Bronx Tale is not a documentary about my life, but there are a lot. I saw this killing when I was a 9-year-old boy, and my father was a bus driver. I had a relationship with a black girl, and some of my friends died, and I used to throw the dice for the wise guys in the hole. They used to call it the hole, this place. And, in the Shea Joey was a bar that we hung out in. So a lot of these stories all happened, and I just kind of weave them together into this one story. But I grew up with wise guys. I mean, a great story is when I was understudying a role on Broadway in 1982, and finally the wise guys they heard I was on Broadway, so they came over to me and they said, "Hey, Chaz, they said we heard you're on Broadway. We want to come and see you." And I said, "Well, I said you really can't." And they said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I'm an understudy." They said, "Well, what's an understudy?" I said, "Well, if something happens to the lead guy..."
Oh, no.
I know. I mean, I'm not realizing I'm saying this. Right? I said, if something happens to the lead guy, then I go on. He goes, oh. and that was it, right? So about 10 minutes later, I'm at the bar. He walks over to me and he goes, "Hey, Chaz, come here." And I go, "Yeah, what's up?" He goes, "You want to go on?" So I said, I didn't get what he said. I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You want to go on?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You want to go on? We'll take care of the thing." He goes, "We'll make it look like a mugging." I said, "No." I said, "Oh my God, no." He goes, "No, we'll put him in a hospital 1 week, 2 weeks." I said, "No weeks. No weeks. Don't do this." I was so scared.
Oh, Jesus.
And then finally, but it was funny. So that night when I as an understudy, you watch the show from the back, and I'm watching the show, and I'm looking at this lead guy who had the lead part, and he was a real a-hole, if you know what I mean. Sure. I'm looking at him, I said, "You don't know how close you came." You don't
My
know.
life was in your hands, or the other way around.
It was in my hands.
Well, they don't get it, these guys.
We definitely have to take a break here. Basically, what we're trying to tell everybody is A Bronx Tale is great on Broadway.
Thanks.
I'd never seen a one-man show before. I mean, I've seen a couple of plays, and just it was so so much better than I ever would have thought a one-man show could be. It was so good, man.
And we want to get some of the younger people in there.
Yeah.
I felt really young in that theater on Wednesday.
Oh.
And I really think the younger people should try to make plans and see this play on Broadway.
Because a lot of people think they're going to relate to it just because it's like from people who grew up in that era. Like, you know what I mean? From the 60s and
A
stuff.
lot of people see it from all over the world, different countries, and they love it. So it's got universal themes. That's what's important.
My girlfriend loved it, and she's a toxic who loves nothing new. I mean, nothing old school. She likes all like new stuff, and she loved it. And she's like, "What can you tell me about the story before we start?" I'm like, "Just watch it, and if there's anything you need me to explain." And she loved this. So it was
great!
Hey, you know what else? Thanks for not taking the money, because listening to you tell that story, I mean, really, people aren't just clapping for your performance. You took risk, and you know, in your line of work, in your business, everybody's faced with that kind of call every day, and you took the risk,
the big decision, the crossroad. You know,
right? Well, it was one of those times. You know, I just said, "Well, it's either now." That's why I went into the bathroom. I had to be alone for a while, and I said, "Nope." You know, and my father wrote on this card, "The saddest thing in life is wasted talent," when I was 9 years old, and he put it in my room. And I had that card with me in the bathroom, and I just looked at it.
Wow.
I kept it all these years, and I looked at it, and I just put it back in my pocket, and I said, "Nah, not doing it." I went out, and I said, I play it, and they said no, and I walked out.
That was kept all those years for that moment.
I still have it. I gave it to my son now.
We really got to take
fantastic.
We got to take a break. Got to get the big plug.
All right,
in here.
yeah, absolutely.
It's the Walter Kerr Theater here in New York City, 48th Street between Broadway and 8th. Tickets 212-239-6900. You're going to be doing this until February?
February 10th.
I'm hearing February 10th.
It's a limited run till February 10th.
Very good.
Okay.
It's Chaz, everyone.
Chaz Palminteri, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with Mike Rowe from Dirty John.
I got a bathroom story for you.
All right, good. It's Opie and Anthony. You're checking out the Opie and Anthony Show. Mike Rowe in studio from Dirty Jobs. He's got his Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe Collection Volume 1. I believe it's out starting today.
And his 150th job.
Yeah, that's
coming
TV.
up.
Yeah, next week.
Next week, okay.
Yeah,
next week.
And Mike had a very good observation. He thought we did a very good job with Chaz, but he just thinks it's kind of strange just sitting here and watching everything happen. We got Jerry Springer, and then we got Chaz.
Chaz Palminteri
a little
comes
different,
in
right?
after
guys, it's why your show's great, because, you know, think what you want about Jerry. He's exactly perfect at who he is and what he does. 17 years, right? And here comes Chaz. You say the exact same thing about him, but other than that,
you would never compare the two in any other capacity.
What are they doing on the same sofa? I mean, it's incredible, but really fun to listen to.
Yeah,
you guys are awesome.
It was an odd little mixture today.
Yeah, well, we were very excited after seeing that play. So,
and I'm such a huge fan of Mike Rowe. And Dirty Jobs is amazing. Like I said, I haven't missed an episode this season. You've just been putting yourself in mortal danger, and just some of the most disgusting jobs. And I got to say something. Me and Opie were talking about this the other day. If you pitched a show like that and put somebody in there, I think the show would last a week. You really bring something to that. It's sort of this. You have a great wit and a great rapport with the people that are just ordinary working Joes that have these horrible jobs. And you go in there and you make it funny and entertaining to watch. And I really think that's the success of that program. Has to do with Mike Rowe.
Can you
and
tell?
Excuse me, for that dirty job, you're going to have to clean all of my saliva off your ass.
Yeah.
Because I was just kissing the hell out of it.
I just have a little observation. Can you tell that we want out of radio desperately? We're just kissing everyone's ass. Jerry comes in, Chaz comes in, Mike Rowe. One of these guys will get us out of our hell.
Someone,
God,
please.
Steve Carell is like
so right. What groveling worms all of us are.
We're usually like, F you, F your dirty jobs, get the F out.
The sound of the day is sycophant.
Right.
When you hear the word sycophant,
can you just tell?
Go to your phone.
Can you just tell we want to move on to something?
We suck.
Something else.
Steve, God bless. Good job. Mike, be careful. Chaz, really, really good. Beautiful interpretation. Jerry,
important work you're doing. I got to compare you to Edward R. Murrow at this point. It's just
Jerry,
amazing what you've done for the media.
Slide down the pole,
Right.
Jerry. That's what an act of bravery.
Wonderful.
Well, yeah, what Anthony was saying though, I think with Dirty Jobs, anyone else hosting that show, it would have been done after a season. It really was.
Because it would either be too clinical or too goofy.
It's your personality that makes
and believe it or not, it is interesting to watch these people that have to do these jobs. And then I said the fun and just sheer misery and aggravation sometimes that you bring to the show is really fun.
You made it your own. You really have. It's now really. They really should just call it the Mike Rowe Show.
There's an act in nature. It's an act of submission, essentially, when a smaller animal in the presence of a larger one will simply lie on its back and expose its jugular, as if to essentially remove all the tension in the air, and there the animals can go about their business. And what I try and do on the show is, as soon as I meet whoever it is, I want them to know, A, you're better at what you do than I'll ever be. I'm not here to make fun of you. I mean, we're going to laugh, but the joke will be on me, so relax. And then we just go about the business of getting through the day. But, I don't know why more people on TV don't do that. And I'm not taking credit for it so much, because to me it just seems like a no-brainer.
Yes.
But we just don't need any more hosts. We don't need any more classic comedians, on these hosted formats, really just desperately trying to find the funny. It's just,
they take themselves a little too seriously. They got to be the one that gets that is making fun of someone else instead of being able to take the brunt of some of the crap that's being thrown your way, and both figuratively and literally.
Quite literally.
I got to bring this up on air. We were talking during the break, and I said to Mike, I'm like, Mike, you're the type of guy, just with dirty jobs and everything else, you're like a man's man. You're doing commercials for manly things, and you got this man show. Right?
Trucks.
Yeah. Trucks. You're like this man.
No hybrid vehicle here.
Right.
No. Come on, pump in that gas.
I want to F up the environment because I'm a man's man. And I was thinking to myself, like, this guy cannot turn down a drink in a bar because he's a man's man, that he has to be a raging alcoholic. He has to be. And I don't think it's any fault of yours. You have no choice. You have to be a raging alcoholic.
I've put myself in a position where I can either be healthy or rude. And I can't. I don't wish to be rude. 3 years ago, the web thing, the online dirty jobs where all the suggestions come, it's a big element of the show. And I went on there when no one was watching and said kind of glibly, look, the way it works is like this. If I meet you, it was in response to somebody saying, hey, can we get together and meet sometime? And no, of course we can't. But if we run into one another, serendipitously in a bar, and you walk up and say, hi, my name's Alice, and I'm a dirty girl. That's code, and what that means is I will buy you and your friends a round of drinks. That's my solemn pledge. That was 2.5 years ago.
Mike,
I've spent, I don't know, this year, maybe $12,000.
Mike, $12,000 on beers.
Mike.
Yes, Opie.
I can't believe you fell for this.
What happened?
That $12,000?
It all went to you.
No, that's pennies now.
Oh.
You just admitted that you will buy drinks.
Oh, dear.
Oh, now it's going to be,
on a nationally syndicated radio show.
Ouch. Wait a minute. You guys are national? You guys are national?
Yeah, that might be a problem
I just led you to the slaughter, and you have no idea. You thought it'd be a nice, cute little story to tell everybody? Half the people listening had no idea that this was going on. You are so...
Is it tax deductible?
I know, you're huge in Buffalo, but I had no idea.
You are trying to stay out of Buffalo. Stay out of Buffalo.
You are so screwed now. That $12,000, you wish it was only $12,000 at this point. I'm like, he's not going to fall for this.
You know what?
I thought you would have left that out of the story.
If somebody at Budweiser's listening, maybe they can call. We can find a way to subsidize this nightmare.
A little sponsorship.
We love Bud Light on this show. Maybe they could get you like a little outfit that you walk around bars in.
I don't need any money. I just want to break even.
Right.
I'm just trying to get back to zero.
I got to bring up one more episode that I watched this season that just, again, brings the danger aspect in. And you say, you do these jobs and the people that you're doing them with know a lot more than you do about it and stuff. Sure. There was one instance where I don't think that was totally true.
It doesn't always work.
The exterminator.
Sure.
When you were working with the exterminator, there was a heavy termite damage on this structure, and
it was a church.
It was a church, yeah. Heavy termite damage, and they went about the job of getting rid of these termites, having to inject in this insecticide, and poor Mike. he's using this gun with a rod on it, and it's got holes at the end to inject in this insecticide. And no matter how he positions it, it squirts poison into his mouth.
It doesn't matter where you point it.
It didn't matter which way you were going. Either your mouth or your crotch got poisoned too at one point.
Sometimes simultaneously.
At the same time. And your cameraman got poisoned.
Took it right in the eye. Abumectin in the eye and pyrethrin in the mouth. It was a bad day, and we all have bad days. And Bill Bretherton is the exterminator you're talking about. He's a wonderful guy. He's a little unorthodox.
Yeah.
Half a bubble off plum, as my grandfather
seemed a little
used to say.
eccentric.
Yeah, he wears black, and so does his wife and his whole family, and they've waged a holy war on vexations. But Bill, through the goodness of his heart, went to a church on that day that had just been chewed from the inside out by termites. And he went to kill all the vermin. But while he was there, he realized that the entire structure was just on rotten timber. So we're crawling around under this church. Any moment the thing's going to fall on us, so we're going to die under a church, which is just rich with irony. But the job went from killing the termites to a carpentry challenge, save the church. And not one of us there knows anything about carpentry. And if you ever tried to hammer a nail into a termite-ridden timber, well, it's just funny, So basically, Bill put himself out there, and we wound up putting a segment on the air that was more about men who can't fix things than men who can kill.
Yeah, I noticed a big piece of timber, and it didn't quite fit, and it was just a cluster F, and you got to see it. Very funny.
I got to jump in because, Mike, it's time for football picks. We finally got into talking to Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs. Now it's time for football picks, Mike.
Jeez, great.
We got sound clips that people have to listen for. We're giving away cash prizes.
Well,
now we have to do football picks.
Filleting everyone.
Sponsored by Dish Network. It's time to get more TV from your TV. Sign up for Dish Network today. Actually, the football picks, people are enjoying these.
They certainly are, especially yours,
I'm not picking this week.
What?
Nope. The sports curse is going to have to wait a week.
People have money that they want to make betting against you.
Nope. You could explain it. I have a really strange sports curse.
It's a sports curse that
started
is
out as
second to none.
Kind of something that we kind of joked about on the show years ago, like, you got a sports curse, but I really do now. It's creepy. Last week, I picked 7 football games, a baseball game, and a hockey game.
Anybody?
Went 2 for 9, and the 2 games were throwaways where I just said, I didn't care about the two games I actually won. I had no vested interest in those teams.
He's a Jets fan.
Yeah.
And the Jets were playing the Eagles last week. And when I heard him go, I take the Jets, I went on the air and said, look, Eagles. If you have college money for your kids, the money you're using to eat with, rent, mortgage, car payments, whatever, tally it all up and bet everything on the Eagles because it has just been guaranteed a win.
It's gotten to this point, Mike. Seriously.
And they won, covered the spread and everything. I hope I made a lot of people money letting them know that Opie's sports curse
and
is
it wasn't just
worst.
talking about this. He threw $1,000.
I put $1,000 on it. I had to.
Yes.
It was the easiest money.
Valuable. It's the anti-skill.
My teams haven't won. I can't tell you the last time. I guess the Mets, 1986. But I was rooting for the Mets. They had that complete disaster at the end of the year. Then I said, you know what? My girl there is from Philly. I'm going to go with the Phillies. I like the Phillies. They got knocked out like nothing.
He has to honestly want the team to win, though, because people call up and go, root for this team so the other team wins. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. He really has to honestly want the team to win.
And Mike from Friday Morning Quarterback, he wants to bring in somebody to do like a seance or something or whatever.
You think it's or try to
thank you.
exercise the spirit from you?
And I'm convinced. I did radio in Buffalo. I was up there for 3 out of the 4 Super Bowl losses. Yeah. So I think it goes all the way back to that. But here we go. My brother's doing the picks for Dish Network this week. And, he wrote some fine stuff for us today. He writes, got to pick the Bengals over the Jets. All they do is score 100 TDs, and Pennington can't even score on his wife. Bump. And then he writes...
Throwing a little humor in, is he?
And then he writes...
A little.
Well, a little, yes. And then he writes, he needs arm Viagra. Yeah.
Right.
Buffalo Bills over the Baltimore Ravens. Buff is in serious need of a win after that disgusting loss to the Cowboys. They're revved up, although I now truly think the city of Buffalo is cursed. So he's taking the Bills this week. And with the great ratings we had, thank God my brother's doing Bills this week. A lot of attention in Buffalo. Lions over the Buccaneers. The Lions will get back on track through the air.
Like how he's talking like a sportscaster.
Oh, no kidding.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah, Tennessee Titans over the Houston Texans. The Texans, dumbest name in the history of sports franchises, are a mess. So that's why he's taking the Titans. He goes with the Chiefs over the Raiders. Tough one, but LJ and Gonzo are very hot and on a roll. Their D is pretty good these days, too. God, he sounds really informed. I don't know why half these picks are awful.
Garbage.
He hasn't had a good year either.
No.
Eagles over the Bears. The Birds should soar in this one. Westbrook is unstoppable, and the Bears usually rely on their D, which hasn't been doing much at all. Steelers over the Broncos. Blah, blah, blah. And I guess that's it. So there's your football.
All right.
Picks. Thanks to
Hope you
Dish
wrote them
Network.
down.
Dish Network. Dish Network.
Oh, they're not getting good reviews over Pal Talk.
They're not enjoying the humor?
No. Not the humor or the picks.
No, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's my brother's picks. I have nothing to do with it this week. And by the way, see a lot of people on the line. Dan from Long Island. I made $6,000 because of Opie last week. Micro, always a pleasure. We can't do the XM thing today because we're off to do...
we're doing a Pat Cooper roast.
We're not really... We get to sit there.
We sit there.
Sit on the DS.
And look silly.
Fun. It'll be good.
Yeah, we get to look silly. Jimmy's going to be roasting Pat Cooper, one of the many comedians doing that today.
Excellent.
So we're all heading over there to do that. So
have a ball, man.
I have a good opening line, too. I'm going to go, hey, Pat, nice haircut.
Anything else you're promoting there, Mike?
Peace on earth, goodwill to man.
150th
150th job next Tuesday, 2 hours. It's going to be nostalgic, fun.